कीर्तनम् हृदयन्तस्तु अभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सुताम् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी सर्वशास्त्रादि पीयूष सर्ववैदिक सत्फल सर्वसिद्धान्त रत्नाध्य सर्वलोकैक दृक्पद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवतो प्रभु कलिद्वन्द्वोतितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानंद पाथाय प्रेम वर्ष अक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेवाय श्री कृष्णाय नमोस्तुते मद एक बंधु मद संगेन मद गुरुन् मद महाधना मद निस्तारक मद भाग्य मद आनंद नमोस्तुते असाधु साधु तादाइन अचिंत्योत ताकरा हाना मुंचा कदाचिन मां प्रेम न हृत कंथयो स्पुरः ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. So thank you all for joining. So we had 1 week gap in between. Last week we didn't have class. So would anyone like to say where are we in our Bhagavatam reading? Like in terms, not verse number, in terms of the storyline.
Brahmaji is offering his like he's offering his obeisances, I guess, to Kardama Muni that you know it, that Krishna himself is going to be taking birth in his family. Like he is going to he has invited Krishna to be
Wonderful.
born.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mata. Wonderful. So we wouldn't say obeisance as such because like Kardama is one way the son of Brahma, but he's actually glorifying Kardamuni and saying like, wow, you're so fortunate. Krishna is going to appear as your son, right? So thank you for making that point. So a quick review. I just want to, particularly I've been thinking of like in the previous chapter, the last few verses, particularly the verse where we see how Devahuti is lamenting and she's making the point where she says to Kardama that, after they had 9 daughters, then Kardamuni was ready to leave and then Devahuti laments and she said, I have not made, good use of your association. And then she says, I have been solidly cheated by Maya. Somehow like that. It's a nice verse, that verse of humility that we think about, like, oh, I've been cheated by Maya, right? So she makes that point, and I was thinking about this, her mood of lamentation. Actually, Devahuti is very qualified for sure. Imagine, we read previously also how she served Kardamuni, before they had the aerial plane and they traveled everywhere. She served Kardamuni so nicely, and then she was ready to take up all the austerities. And not only that, she's a daughter of Swayambhu Manu, and she got married to such a great devotee as Kardam Muni. So all her service to her husband is not in vain, right? But when she's actually speaking this, it is actually her mood of humility, and I was thinking, like, personally in our life, we can, in our sadhana, we can always try to cultivate this mood of humility, thinking that, oh, there was so much more I could have done. I am so blessed with the association of devotees. I am so blessed with, a nice community, everything, Prabhupada, his books, everything is so perfect in our life. But we can always meditate on this point that in spite of everything, Krishna is arranging everything so nicely in my life. I have not made the best use of the opportunity. So just having that point always, will actually keep us humble. That I could have done so much more. And I could have made so much better use of the association, or I can serve more. So always having that mood of humility, and devotee is actually having that mood, right? And in that mood, she actually tells her husband that I did not make use of your association. But actually, one way she served her husband so nicely. So this is only her mood of humility. Right? And she makes a point that I did not know your greatness, right? So we discuss this point. If we do not know the greatness of a Vaishnava, then we may not, make the best use of the opportunity of their association. Right? Yeah, and then last chapter we concluded with the point that I have been solidly cheated by Maya, for in spite of having your association which gives liberation, I do not seek such liberation. So even Devoti was thinking of this point that previously, what did Kardamuni tell Devoti? I will give you the highest gift. all that I have attained through my austerities, through my meditation for thousands of years, everything I have attained the highest gift of prema, a love of Godhead, and I'm willing to give that to you, you know. And what did devotee say? She didn't say no, but she said, yes, I want that gift, but not yet. Because I'm interested to have children, I want to enjoy. And then they had the whole aerial airplane and things like that. But even that point, I mean, the whole point that devotee did not accept it right away, and then she wanted to have first children. That's also the entire thing is the plan of the Lord, so that the Lord can actually appear, right? So one way it wasn't devotees like, one way fault in the sense of asking for, this union, etc., etc., right? So again, at that point, it is just devotees. She's just playing the part of the plan of the Lord, right? So it's not devotee, like she wasn't, advanced that way. She was very advanced, but she was playing the part of the Lord. So one way, even that point, though she was playing the part of the Lord, but she's thinking, oh, my husband was willing to give me love of God, but I did not accept it. So in that mood, the points of humility. So practically in our life, in our sadhana, we can actually think about the least, uh, what's the right word? Uh, the least of all qualities or the least of all things that is actually keeping us away from Krishna, and say meditate on that. Like, even if like one fall, oh, I'm not so good at that. But just thinking about that, oh, when will Krishna show mercy on me? Not that we just keep meditating on that and don't turn to Krishna, but we can have that point that, oh, my mind is still so distracted. Oh, Krishna, when will you turn? And every time use as a point to be humble and at the same time turn to Krishna. Right, and we see devotee that mood of humility. So it's nice. I like that section where she's saying, "I'm solidly cheated, in spite of having the best association, the best guru, the best, I have not completely made use of it." Right? So that was her lamentation. And Kardamuni actually said that don't be disappointed. You are actually very praiseworthy. And we see how Kardamuni is responding to devotee. Right? He is not like when she is having that mood of humility, he's not saying that, oh yes, you did not make use. I am so advanced. No, no. He's actually, he's saying in a mode of humility. She's making the point, but Kardamuni is replying. Actually, you are praiseworthy. Imagine the supreme personality of God is going to appear in your womb. What more do you want, right? So you have undertaken sacred vows, and certainly Krishna has noted that, and he'll bless you. And then he asks the devotee to actually perform. Worship the Lord with regulation, sense control, austerity, and charity, and then He will actually become your son. Right, so devotee worshipped, and then we read about how when the Lord appeared, then all these auspicious signs, like similar to when we read about Lord Krishna appearing in the 10th canto, when the Lord appears, everything becomes auspicious. So similarly here, we read about when Lord Kapila was appearing, then everything actually became very auspicious. And also the very important point that when the Lord actually appears, from a pillar like Narsimhadev, it's not that the pillar is the source of the Lord, right? The Lord can appear from anywhere. Actually, in one of the Puranas, so interesting, I read, like we know the pastime of Lord Narsimhadev and Prahlad, when Narsimhadev appeared from a pillar, right? He broke open the pillar and he came out, right? Now, it's described in other Puranas that sometimes Narsimhadev, Bhagwan, he'll just come walking into the town. He won't appear from a pillar. He'll just walk into the town and he'll come to the palace and then he'll kill Hiranyakashipu. So, so the point I want to make is that the Lord may appear, like he appears from the nostril of Brahma, but that does not make Brahma the source of the appearance of the Lord. It's not that the Lord is dependent on that, right? So similarly here, he's actually appearing from Kardamuni and Devavati, but not that Kardamuni is actually he's dependent on that, the process of semen and getting into the womb, etc., etc., right? So he is completely independent. He appears out of his own sweet will, right? So right. So we read how after many years the Lord, who's like fire in wood, right? So that's the point, fire in wood. He's already present everywhere, but he actually enters into a semen of Kardama. And demigods they celebrate, and Brahma, along with Marichi, Narad Muni, other sages, they come to a place, and then we'll continue from that point, right? How Brahma glorifies Kardama and Devoti, and then he predicts what are the activities that Kapila Dev is going to do. Okay. So let's continue. 24. We'll just quickly go through 11, 12. I think we discussed 11, 12, and then 13, we'll continue our discussion. Okay, let's do 11, text 11. Everyone okay? Any questions or any points? Okay, let's start text 11. Okay. Radhika?
11. Sabhajayan vishudhena chetasa tachchikirshitam prahrishyamanir arsubhi kardamam chedam abhyadhat.
Can we just do a translation for 10? Who's supposed to read? Can you do 10 and 11 together?
Lieutenant Leela Mataji, can you read?
Yeah, give me 1 minute, Madhavi. It's 10 of chapter 25 or
24.
24. 24, right? Yeah. Give me 1 minute. 10 and 11. Both translations, right, bro?
Yes.
Text 10. Maitra continued, O killer of the enemy, the unborn, Lord Brahma, who is almost independent in acquiring knowledge, could understand that a portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his quality of pure existence had appeared in the womb of Devahuti, just to explain the complete state of knowledge known as Sankhya Yoga. Text 11. After worshipping the Supreme Lord with gladdened senses and a pure heart for his intended activities as an incarnation, Brahma spoke as follows to Kardama and Devahuti.
Right, so we discussed this point that how that Prabhupada makes the point that Brahma actually knew about the appearance of the Lord, and that's why he's here, right? And Prabhupada uses this point to actually say how Bhagavad Gita says, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam, right? One who knows about the Janma and Karma of the Lord, as Divyam, as transcendental, that person is already liberated. So Prabhupada actually uses the point to say that how Brahma is already liberated, right? Because he knows about the appearance, the transcendental appearance of the Lord. And hence, even though he is a jiva, right? He is a jiva in charge of the creation. He is not, he's unlike other jivas in the sense that he is actually already liberated. He knows that the Lord is appearing, his appearance is transcendental, and he's actually going to glorify who? Not directly the Lord. He's going to talk about future activities of the Lord, but he's going to glorify the Father of the Lord. And in relation to that, we read this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 1996, where Raghupati Upadhyaya is saying that those who are afraid of material existence worship the Vedic literature. Some worship the Smriti, others worship Mahabharata. As far as I am concerned, whom do I worship? I worship Krishna's father, Maharaj Nanda, in whose courtyard the Supreme Personality of Godhead is playing. So it's such a nice mood that Prabhupada is quoting Raghupati Upadhyaya and he's saying that, his mood is, imagine the Lord has appeared as a child and he's playing in the courtyard of a personality. So I will glorify that personality. How glorious is his devotion to the Lord that the Lord has actually appeared, right? And Prabhupada makes this point, the Lord is actually more pleased when we actually glorify the associates of the Lord than directly the Lord, right? And the famous verse where Lord Shiva is talking to Parvati, Aradnam Sarvesham Vishnur Aradnam Param, Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadyanam Samachara, right? Yes, of all kinds of worship, the highest is what? Vishnu Aradnam Param, right? The highest is Vishnu. But even higher than that is to worship the devotees of Vishnu, Tadyanam, the associates of Vishnu. So when we are actually worshiping, glorifying the associates of the Lord, then that is actually even more pleasing to the Lord. Right? Like how Prabhupada said, you praise the dog and the master is very pleased. So Prabhupada says if you give them the dog, yeah, anyway. Yeah. So if you praise the dog or the child, then the master is very pleased. Right? So that was the point we read. Yeah, and like this was where this month Kartik Mas we are glorifying Mother Yashoda, right? And in the 10th canto, 9th chapter, how in that text 3, where the glories, the Mother Yashoda's her entire form is described, then Prabhupada what he makes a point in purport that those who are in the mood of Vatsalya, they should actually meditate on this associate of the Lord. And finally, a process as we go from sadhana to raga nuga. Raga nuga means to actually worship anuga, to follow in the footsteps of a associate of the Lord. Right? So that's the point here, right? So Brahma is actually glorifying Kardamuni. So glorious you are that actually the Lord has appeared as his son. Okay, text 12.
Text 12. Brahmovacha tvayame pachitustata kalpita nirvalikataha yanme sangjagre vakyam bhavan manadamanayan.
Lord Brahma said, "My dear son Cardamom, since you have completely accepted my instructions without duplicity, showing them proper respect, you have worshipped me properly. Whatever instructions you took from me, you have carried out, and thereby you have honored me."
So we discussed this also, so I remember. So in this purport, we made the point that how to actually worship, right? So Brahma is actually praising Kardamuni that you have worshipped me properly. Why? Nirvya likataha. So this word is very important. Without duplicity. Your worship of me is without duplicity. And what does it mean to worship the spiritual master? Yes, we do the Vyas Puja ceremony. We come, we do the Aarti, like Shri Guru, Charana, Padma. So we do the worship. But more important than that is to actually accept the instructions of the spiritual master without duplicity. That means in toto. The Guru says this, 100% we are actually accepting, right? So no duplicity. And if you actually accept the instructions of the spiritual master in that mood, then you are actually honoring the spiritual master. You are properly worshipping the Guru, right? We make this point about of all Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciples. He gave the instructions not only to Prabhupada, but he wanted others also. He gave the instruction, you go to West and preach, right? And also we know how 3 disciples, they went to Europe and then they came back. But Prabhupada actually took that instruction as his life and soul, right? In that way, he has actually perfectly worshipped his spiritual master because he took that instruction as life and soul and actually perfected that instruction. Right? And also, we made the point that, even having 9 daughters, Brahma would have been pleased. But now, the Supreme Person, so even beyond the instructions of Brahma, he is actually now the Son, the Supreme Personality of God is appearing in the Son. What more to say? So, Brahma is so pleased with Kardama. Right? And also, another important point we discussed in the purport is where Prabhupada makes the point that we all have, conditioned soul have 4 defects, right? Imperfect senses. And because of imperfect senses, we are illusion. Because of illusion, we make mistakes. Because we make mistakes, we cheat. Right? 4 things. It starts off with illusion. Imperfect senses. Imperfect senses leads to illusion. Because of illusion, we make mistakes, and because we make mistakes, we cheat. But he says, if one carries out the order of the spiritual master, coming in disciplic succession, he actually overcomes these 4 defects. Right? The way to overcome these 4 defects is to actually follow the instructions of the spiritual master. And Prabhupada makes the last sentence, he says, to honor the spiritual master means to carry his instructions word for word. Word for word, carrying out the instructions of the spiritual master. Right? Okay. Next verse, 13.
Text 13. Etavatyeva shushrusha karya pitari putrakai badham ityanumanyeta gorovena gurorvachaha. I think we missed Gopinathacharya Prabhu, so maybe Gopinathacharya Prabhu can go and then.
Yeah. Sons ought to render service to their father exactly to this extent. One should obey the command of his father or spiritual master with due deference, saying, Yes, sir.
Hmm. So this is how we should follow the instructions of the spiritual master. Yes, sir. It's like it sounds like that military. Yes, sir. You can do it. And if you want to say yes, sir, we'll say yes, Guru Maharaj. Whatever you say, word to word, I will follow. Right? So here it says, Etavati eva shushusha karya. To the extent service ought to be rendered. Like how the service was expected to be done. Pitari putra kahi, to father by the son. So not only Kardamuni is actually one way the disciple of Brahma, but he's also the son, right? So Pitari Putrika, to father by the sons, Badam iti. Yes, sir, I'm going to do it, right? So that should be a mood. A guru says, okay, do this. Yes, sir, right? Yes, Guru Maharaj, I'm going to do it. So in that mood, we accept. And then Anumanyate, he should obey. Vachaha, words. And we see the word Gauravena Guru Vachaha. Remember this word Gauravena? Where did we read this?
Devahuti worshipped.
Therefore, Prabhu,
Yeah.
yeah.
Devahuti, when she was serving her husband, we said two words, Vishrambena, Gauravena. Right? Two words, Gauravena and Vishrambena. So Gauravena, Vishrambena means intimacy, and Gauravena with awe and reverence. Right? So here, Brahma is telling Kardama, it's like Parampara. Devoti served her husband with Gauravena, and then Kardama is serving Brahma with Gauravena. Right? So Gauravena with due, with awe and reverence. Right? So we should obey commands of the Guru with awe and reverence. He's basically glorifying Kardama, how you have so nicely followed my instructions. Right? So Prabhupada makes a point. The son or this disciple should accept the words of spiritual master without hesitation. Right? Why do we have hesitation? When the Guru says something, why would we hesitate?
Maybe out of fear that that it will impede our sense gratification, or else that we won't be able to do it.
Okay. It's like if I take to Krishna consciousness as my Guru Maharaj is asking me, what about my rest of my life? Material life will be finished. Maybe that kind of fear is there. And the other point you said, like, oh, maybe you said we may not be able to fear that we may not be able to succeed.
Yeah.
I mean, that point may be still there, and one may still accept Guru Maharaj say, okay, you have to do this, and that fear is actually one way the healthy fear that, my Guru's expectation. He wants me to do this. I will try my best, but we are dependent. The fear may help us be more dependent on the mercy of the Guru. That kind of fear is good. What else?
Lack of faith.
Lack of faith. That's the whole thing, right? Lack of faith. We lack of faith in the process of Krishna consciousness, lack of faith in Guru. Yes, Guru Maharaj has said this, but it's okay. I will do something, But it's not like 100% that conviction. Yes, sir, I'm going to do 100%. I will do it. Right? And we mentioned this point a few times. I always like when you search in Veda base, secret to success. What is the verse that comes up? Now everyone should know. I've made this point a few times. यस्य देवे परा भक्तिर यथा देवे तथा गुरु तस्य कथिता yartha prakashante mahatmana. One who has both implicit faith in Krishna and implicit faith in Guru. Right? Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru. Yatha deve to the Lord and tatha guru. Tasya katita yartha. To that person, all the purpose of the Vedas will be revealed to him. Prakashante Mahatmana. He is the great Mahatma. All the purpose of the Vedas will be actually. So that kind of faith should be there. Either we lack that faith in the process, lack that faith in the spiritual master, or we just have so many anarthas that's actually keeping us here. That that determination to engage in the seva is not there. Right? So So Prabhupada makes a point. In quotes, he says, when the Guru gives an instruction, the disciple should not say, "This is not correct, I cannot carry it out." This is not correct, I shall not carry it out. We should always be in the mood of yes, yes, sir. Okay. And then Prabhupada also talks about first birth from the father, second birth is from the guru. So both the father and the guru, the instruction should be accepted, as yes, sir. As yes, sir. And Prabhupada also quotes Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He says that how we should accept the instructions of the spiritual master as one's life and soul. Right? Which is the verse Prabhupada is referring to? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has stated that the order of the spiritual master is the life and soul of the disciple.
Guru Ashtakam, right, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Prasada, Bhagavat Prasada.
Either that or you can say
Yes,
Shakshad in Samasta Shastra. Right? Also, one way Prabhupada actually often quotes this is in the commentary to the verse, Vyavasaitmika Buddhir Eke He Kuru Nandana, right? 241. And Prabhupada said, when I read the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur to that verse, I was convinced. My entire life, I have only one goal: serve the order of my spiritual master as my life and soul, right? So that's also another reference that Prabhupada said. So he says, Prabhupada, as a man cannot separate his life from his body, a disciple cannot separate the order of the spiritual master from his life. Okay, and then Prabhupada quotes that verse that I just quoted. This is confirmed in the Upanishads. The import of Vedic literature is revealed automatically only to one who has implicit faith both in Guru and Krishna. Right? So this verse, if you want the reference, if you see purport of 7:15:28, I mean, Prabhupada quotes this many places, but just one reference, 7:15:28. In that, Prabhupada in the purport talks about this verse. Okay, then he explains this verse very nicely. Simply by rendering service to a spiritual master, one crosses the ocean of nescience and returns home back to Godhead. Thus, he gradually sees the Supreme Lord face to face and enjoys life in association with the Lord. The ultimate goal of yoga to come in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Unless this point is achieved, one so-called yoga practice is simply labor without any benefit. Okay, text 14.
Prabhu.
Yeah.
We see how Tamakrisha Maharaj, when he was asked to go to China, he did hesitate. Bishop, I mean, so I read the conversation, and then it's not that he's saying I cannot go, but he said, "How will I do it?" So like a question mark, like So because Prabhupada is saying anytime he asks such a question, he is considered to be fallen. But we know what glorious service he did.
Yeah.
So
one point, like practically in our movement, when we see, I'm sure you have this experience that when the guru gives, see, certain instructions are, okay, I want you to chant 16 rounds every day. I want you to follow 4 regulative principles. I want you to do. So certain aspects of sadhana, there is no question mark to it. As soon as the guru says, okay, I want you to do this, read Prabhupada's books every day. All those things are yes, yes, yes. But because we are a missionary movement, sometimes the guru may say, oh, I want you to do this. And I have seen that many times the guru is actually in the mood that, okay, I want you to do this. And then he's actually open to like a discussion in the sense that, okay, is this, because maybe you are in this area, you have more experience. And one way the guru is testing the disciple to see how much is the disciple's, like the disciple may say, actually, Guru Maharaj, maybe if we preach this way, or if we maybe a disciple may be expert at social media and say, like, if you put it on Facebook and then preach in this way, then we'll get more publicity. And the Guru is open, and say, like, oh, yeah, nice idea, let's do it. Right? So, those are like how Nectar of Devotion talks about principles and details. So if you come to a conversation between Prabhupada and Tamal Krishna Goswami, principles cannot be changed. So Guru will say, chant 16 rounds. That's no question there, right? Follow for, do this. So all those principles, no. But details, then the Guru is actually open and sometimes he'll ask the disciple. So how do you think we should actually organize this program? right? And disciple can actually say. So details, that can be that discussion, and and sometimes the guru actually appreciates that. Okay, it's nice you told me this, and then let's do it this way and things like that. So yeah. One way the disciple guru is also training the disciple, right? After the guru leaves, the disciple should be like he's training him that the guru and disciple actually takes over, and he can actually now preach, organize programs, spread Krishna consciousness. So by that mood, the disciple is also getting trained how to preach Krishna consciousness. So, but the principles are always like that's the mood. Yes, yes, sir. So, okay, next verse, text 14.
Imaduhitara satyastava vatsa sumadhyamaha sargametam prabhavai svar brimhayishyantyane.
Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Brahma then praised Kardam Muni's 9 daughters in saying, all your thin-waisted daughters are certainly very chaste. I am sure they will increase this creation by their own descendants in various ways. Hare Krishna.
So basically, here he's praising Kardamuni's daughters, and he's saying like two things. One is they are Satya. Satya means chaste. And then he says Su Madhyamaha. Means they are like thin-waisted. Prabhupada said thin-waisted means they are very beautiful. So he's basically saying that not only they are very chaste, but they are also very beautiful. And Sargam Brahmya Yishyanti. Basically, he's say Brahma's whole one way his task is to create progeny. And now he's seeing these 9 daughters and like, oh, these 9 daughters are very beautiful, very chaste, and they'll create really good progeny. So he's actually praising. Now he's very happy that these daughters, they will create progeny, and then my task of creation will become very easy. So I'm very happy with that. Okay, 15.
Text 15. Atastvam rishi mukebhyo yatha shiram yatha ruchi atmaja parideyadya vistrinihi yasho bhuvi.
Therefore, today, please give away your daughters to the foremost of the sages with due regard for the girls' temperaments and likings, and thereby spread your fame all over the universe.
Right. So basically, the key word here, Prabhupada focuses yatha shilam, yatha ruchi, according to the temperament and according to the taste. Right. So what does this mean? So here, basically, Brahma is saying, therefore, today, Adya, right? Today, you actually give away your Tvam Parideha. You please give away your daughters. Rishi Mukhebhya. Give the daughters to whom? The foremost of all sages. Right. So in the next verses, we'll read about how Kardama offers each one of his daughters to great sages such as Marichi, Atri, Angira, Bhrigu, Vashishta, all those great sages we hear. So he's saying, give your daughters to all these great sages. And how to decide which daughter should be given to which sage? Matchmaking, right? We already read how Krishna was the best matchmaker. He got Kardama and Devhuti married. Now Brahma is doing matchmaking. He's saying you should do all your daughters to sages. But how? Yatha Shilam, Yatha Ruchi, right? So Prabhupada stresses on this point according to character and taste. This is the art of combining man and woman together, right? And Prabhupada again stresses the importance of astrology here. And he says, particularly for marriage, we always say that, best to match the astrological chart. Because initially, like even the character of the boy and the girl, maybe both may be good, right? Or even both of them may be good devotees. But does that mean necessarily that they will have the best matching, the best married life? Not necessarily. Like, we have heard cases of both the husband and wife, very nice devotees, but still there's conflict at home. So it is not only the character, but also how the compatibility is there, right? And hence astrological charts, actually it will say, okay, you are from so and so, and this is the girl is from and so many qualities match, right? They have this number out of, I don't know, what's it, 35 or something, right? Anyway, I forget. What is it?
36, Prabhu.
36, Prabhu.
36. Okay, 36. Out of 36, so many qualities match. And then, so all that is actually proper saying. It's important to do that. Under direction of parents, you match the astrological charts and see what is the compatibility. And then do it. Right? But Kali Yuga, what is it? Everything is based on, Prabhupada then criticizes, he says in Kali Yuga, everything is based on sex. Right? And just like cats and dogs, they want to have sex together, they just come, they unite. And similarly here, marriages are based on sex, right? Physical attraction. And so we say love at first sight, divorce at first fight. So that's the situation of Kali Yuga. So Prabhupada, actually in 12th canto, Prabhupada often quotes this verse. This from the 12th canto of Bhagavatam, second chapter, text number 3. Prabhupada very frequently quotes, what is the symptoms of Kali Yuga? Dampyate bhiruchir hetur, mayeva vyavaharika, stritve pushte cha hi ratir, vipratve sutram eva hi. Right? So this verse is basically saying men and women will live together merely because of superficial attraction. Oh, he looks good, she looks good, and they'll get married. Right? Success in business will depend on what? In Kali Yuga, success in business will depend on? Who can guess?
Cheating.
Cheating.
Yeah.
Bhagavatam is making that point. Success in business will depend on how expert one is at cheating. This is a symptom of Kali Yuga. And then womanliness and manliness will be judged according to one's expertise in sex, and man will be known as a Brahmana just by wearing a 2 paisa thread. I mean, now it's no longer 2 paisa, but 20 rupees or whatever, you get that 5 rupees Brahman thread. You can buy it and say, just by having a Brahman thread, you'll be like, oh, he's a Brahmana. But that is not you have to have the qualities of a Brahmana. So all these are symptoms of Kali Yuga, and Prabhupada is actually talking about all this in the purport, right? So, and why is he quoting this? Because the main point that that the union in Kali Yuga is based on sex, but actually it should be deeper. We should see the qualities, the compatibility, and all the same. Right? Also, Prabhupada talks about this. Maybe someone else is more expert here. Like the boy and girl could be from Rakshas line or Devata line. You know that? So, like, so if the boy and girl both are from the Rakshas line, then they are compatible. But that doesn't mean that they are Rakshas. But it's like, and something is there like that. And Prabhupada talks about that.
It's called Gan. Gan has 3 factors: Devgan, Manushyagan, and Rakshasgan.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the marriage should be, say, like husband and wife, they should be Devgan, Manushya, Dev, Manushya, and Dev, but not any of those 2 with Rakshasas, because Rakshas can only be with the Rakshasa, because otherwise the Rakshasa will eat the Manushya. If it is a Devgan, then they will always be fighting. So,
Yeah. So Prabhupada talks about that they should be both either Rakshasa or they should be both either Devagan, otherwise they will not be happy. Right? Thank you. So he belongs to the godly or demoniac quality. A girl of demoniac quality should be handed over to a boy of demoniac quality. So Prabhupada is talking all about that. Okay, next verse.
Text 16. Vedaham adyam purusham avatirnam swamayaya bhutanam shevadhim deham bibhranam kapilam mune.
Hare Krishna. O Kardama, I know that the original Supreme Personality of Godhead has now appeared as an incarnation by his internal energy. He is the bestower of all desired by the living entities, and he has now assumed the body of Kapil Muni.
Okay, so basically here he's saying that Mune, O sage Kardama, Vedaham. Vedaham means I know. I know what? Adyam Purusham. Who is the Adyam Purusham? The original Purusha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Avatirnam Swamayaya. he is actually Avatirna, means appeared. So Mayaya, which is the verse in Bhagavad Gita, we read this. So Mayaya, Atma Mayaya. Fourth chapter Bhagavad Gita. Atma Mayaya. That means basically Atma Maya means he appears out of his own internal energy. Right? So here Brahma is actually, someone found it? Okay. Brahma is actually making the point that he's saying, "Oh Kardama, I know that the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is actually Avatirna, incarnated by his own internal energy." Right? And then he makes a point, who is this? Bhutanam Sevadhim. Okay, Bhutanam referring to all living entities. Sevadhim refers to the bestower of all desire, who is just like a vast treasure. So Prabhupada explains this point that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the real treasure of all living entities, and he bestows all desired by the living entities. Who is fulfilling all the desires of all the living entities? It's actually Krishna himself. Right? Krishna himself. So how does that happen? So if someone is just materialistic, then we know like Krishna in the heart as Paramatma. He actually sees what is the desires of the living entity, and then through the three modes of material nature, he'll make the living entity act in such a way that the desires are fulfilled. But who is initially the initiator of the three modes, like controller of the three modes? That's Krishna himself. And on the other hand, even spiritual desires, who is the one who fulfills? It's Krishna himself. Right? Whether it's material or spiritual, the desires that are fulfilled only by Krishna, right?
Yeah, it's Bhagavad Gita 4.6, Prabhuji.
Yes. What is the starting shloka?
Ajopi san
Yeah,
vayat.
Ajopiya.
Ajopi sanvayatmanam bhutanam ishwaropi san
Prakritim swam
prakriti swamadhisthaya
Sambhavamya
sambhavatmaya
Atma.
atmaya.
Thank you. Sambhavamya
Hare Krishna.
Right? So that means he comes out of his own free will, own internal potency, right? And then it's interesting, this word, it says Deha Bibranam, right? So one way it says assuming the body of Kapila. So he's appearing out of his own free will, but he's assuming the body. Like someone may see this and say what? Oh, Mayavadi. Mayavadi will take this and say, oh, here is a proof in Bhagavatam. How it is actually this. But if you consider that he has assumed a material form, but already in the first line, he's already said Swamayaya. So direct contradiction. In one verse itself, there's a contradiction. So here when it says assume the form, that basically means that the Lord has so many unlimited forms. And based on the situation or based on the desire of the devotee, the Lord will actually appear in a particular form. Right? For Prahlad Maharaj, the Lord will actually appear as Narasimhadev, as Vishnudev. So unlimited forms of the Lord, but based on the situation, he will actually appear in a particular form. So he assumed the body of Kapila Muni. Okay. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is making the point, except that assuming the body means actually he has an eternal body, but now that body is actually appeared now. Right? We say appearance of the Lord. We don't say the birth of the Lord. The Lord is actually appearing right now. Okay. And then Sevadim, we talked about how the Lord is the treasure of all living entities. Right? All right. Okay. And then Prabhupada also makes the point that, avajananti mam mudha, that only foolish people, they actually, when the Lord appears, they consider the body of Krishna to be a common human being. Right? Avajananti mam mudha. When there's a mudha, those fools, they consider that they do not know avajananti, they do not know about the glories of my appearance, and then manushim tanum ashrita. They think that he has assumed a body of a human being. He has assumed the material body, but that's not true. He's always Atma Maya. 17.
Jnana Vijnana Yogena Karmanam Udharam Jataha Hiranyakesha Padmaksha Padma Mudra Padambujaha.
By mystic yoga and the practical application of knowledge from the scriptures, Kapila Muni, who's characterized by his global hair, his eyes just like lotus petal, and his lotus feet, which hears the marks of lotus flowers, will uproot the deep-rooted desire for work in this material world. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So basically here he's further telling the activities of Kapila. When Kapila comes, what will he do? Jnana, that means scriptural knowledge. Vijnana, realized knowledge, the application, right? So we say theoretical knowledge and then realized knowledge. So both Jnana and Vijnana. Yogena, Yogena means mystic yoga. So the rest of the third canto, we are going to read about the teachings of Kapila Dev, and we see how he actually talks of bhakti, devotional service, along with this yoga, mystic yoga. So mystic yoga and bhakti together, right? So he's going to talk about jnana, vijnana, and yogena, mystic yoga. And then further he says, udharam karmana. And by that, by the knowledge that Kapila Dev gives, then he will uproot the deep-rooted jataha. Jataha means he'll uproot the material desires. The deep-rooted material desire is going to uproot, right? Which is the other verse where we see that knowledge will uproot our deep material desires. Anyone knows? In Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, we see this verse, Yet anudhyasina nyukta karma granti nibandhanam chindanti kovidasasya kona kuryat katharati. That when you get this knowledge, when we hear, when we get jnana and vijnana, just by our hearing, receiving this knowledge, then the karma granti, the hard knot in the heart, will actually be cut or uprooted. Right? So here is saying, udharan karmanam, that deep karma, that hard knot of our karma will actually be uprooted by the knowledge that Kapila Muni will give. Right? So further, the bodily features. So they say, like, how we say that when any incarnation who actually comes avatar, the Shastras will speak both about the activities and the form of the Lord. Right? So activities we talked already. What is the form of the Lord? Hiranya Kesha. Kesha, hair. How is it? Hiranya. Golden hair. Right? That's how Kapila Muni looks. He has golden hair. And then Padma Akshaha, lotus eyes. Padma Mudra, right? His Padma Mudra means is marked with a sign of lotus. Padma Ambujaha, right? He has lotus feet. Which is the other verse, Padma Viri. Namaha Pankaja Nabhaya. Again, like a lotus, right? So here it is, lotus feet. He's marked with a lotus. He has lotus eyes and he has golden hair. So these are the bodily features of Kapila.
What is the reference shloka for that second one, first canto, second chapter?
Here, Anudhyasina 1 to 15. Okay, so in the purport, Prabhupada says, he makes a point, he talks about this hard knot in the heart, right? He says, man tries to be happy, achieving the fruits of our own labor, but actually he gets more and more entangled in it. Like we actually act in such a way, okay, I want to be happy. And to be happy, we actually work so hard, but our working so hard is actually the cause of our bondage. So basically, our desire to enjoy in this material world is making the knot in our heart tighter and tighter and tighter. So instead of breaking the knot, we are actually making the knot more and more entangled, right? But that knot, this tendency to enjoy this material world is very deep rooted, right? The tendency to actually enjoy in this material world is actually very deep rooted. And this Sankhya philosophy that Kapila Muni is going to speak will uproot that deep rooted desire to actually enjoy in this material world. Right? Even when we take up bhakti, what happens? Initially, we take up bhakti, we may still have that tendency to say, okay, I'm chanting Hare Krishna. Why? To become happy. right? To actually, so we are doing everything to actually become happy. Oh, let's go to the Sunday feast. Why? Nice prasadam, right? Nice prasadam, right? So the tendency, Prabhupada is making a tendency to enjoy is so deep rooted that even when one actually takes a bhakti, one may have that similar tendency. So it's very hard to actually take away this, right? But it can be very easily uprooted by the Sankhya philosophy, which Kapila Muni will speak. Okay. And
It's
yeah,
very beautiful photo in our book, in the book of how Kapila Devi is looking. In one of the photos.
golden hair and
Golden hairs, yes, golden hairs and lotus eyes, very soft hands,
so this one.
features. Yeah, even inside there is the photo though. Inside the same photo, much better. But bro, in this photo, if you see, look out of the window of where Kapil Dev is sitting. There's like 3-4 story buildings. It looks like Mayapur. So, I mean, so it's not really hermitage where he's going to give class. It's like a palace.
Looks like a palace. I mean, maybe he giving Bhagavatam class in that aerial mansion.
Oh.
The photo actually looks like as if he's giving, but it's strange. I don't know whether it's I don't know why it is shown like this.
Because couple of photos back, Prabhu, there is where the Lord Brahma is visiting. That is definitely hermitage.
Hermitage, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe the mother is still staying in the mansion.
what's that, Mati?
Maybe the mother is still staying in the mansion made by her husband.
Actually, later on we'll read how it actually says that Kapila Dev, he actually, when after Kardama left, Kapila, he still stays at Bindu Sarovar and he gives instruction to his mother. So it mentions Bindu Sarovar. Maybe later on it will come, but I have not, as far as I've seen, I've not seen that they go back into the aerial mention to do it, you know. So anyway, that's a secondary point, but the main point is he gives the knowledge, right? See, all these paintings are basically like, the disciples of Prabhupada, they actually came and said, okay, this story, let's read this. Okay, golden hair, let's put it. And they used to always come, like, the famous stories there with Jadu Rani Mataji. They did that, I don't know, was it Jadu Rani? Or maybe one of his devotees, and they did the painting of Narsimhadev, with piercing the intestine, with like blood and everything. And they came to Prabhupada and they said that, Prabhupada, this is okay? Prabhupada said, yes, but more blood, more blood. You should look more fierce. You should have like more blood, in that Narsimha. So the story is that. So they used to paint and take it to Prabhupada. Anyway, we'll see later on if it says that it comes back into aerial mansion. But actually, next chapter, we won't come to it today. But in 25, it says that Kapila Muni stayed at Bindu Sarovar and he instructed his mother. So, Prabhupada, one thing in this purport he stresses is how through devotional service we can easily uproot the hard knot in the heart. How does bhakti uproot the hard knot in the heart? And you want to say, like, how does the process of bhakti uproot that hard knot? Like, first part of the purport, Prabhupada is just focusing how it is so hard knotted, that tendency to enjoy is so deep rooted. It's like very hard to get out. But then second part, he said, by bhakti, it can be taken off.
As we follow the process of bhakti more and more, our material desires goes away and only spiritual desire is left, that I only want pure devotional service and nothing else.
Very nice point. So our material desires are transformed into spiritual desires. So actually, the tendency to enjoy is there, right? Everyone, because we are living entities, the tendency to enjoy is there. But because we are conditioned, that tendency of enjoy is projected outside, in the outside world. But the same tendency of enjoyment is not that we are denying it. The same tendency of enjoyment will be there, But that enjoyment will be like, yes, I will enjoy by serving Krishna. Right? Initially it may be like when you're offering food, okay, today let's have kachori. And then we'll say, okay, we are cooking, we'll offer it to Krishna so that we can enjoy kachori. Initially our motivation, because we want to have kachori, hence we are going to offer that to Krishna. But as we gradually progress, then our mood will be like, okay, I'm doing it for Krishna. If Krishna accepts this, then I'll feel so happy. And then Krishna, if he gives me some remnants, then I will accept it. I'll be so happy. Right? So our desire to be happy, that does not change. But how we'll get that happiness, that changes from external material to by pleasing Krishna. And when we actually get that pleasure by serving Krishna, by pleasing Krishna, right? See, in one of the purports in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada makes the point that desire to actually seek happiness in material objects, that is the worst enemy of the living entity. Right? Worst enemy of the living entity, because it's, that's what is keeping us here. But the same desire to enjoy, when it is projected to service to Krishna, when we serve Krishna, I'll be happy. And when we do that, then we experience a higher taste. And that higher taste actually helps us overcome that deep knot in our heart. We get that higher taste, like, oh, this is so good. And then everything else actually feels useless. Right? So, okay. So text 18.
Eshamanavite garbham pravishta kaitavardanaha avidya samshaya granthim chitvagam vicharishyati.
Hare Krishna, 3:24:18. Lord Brahma told Devahuti, my dear daughter of Manu, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead who killed the demon Kaitaba is now within your womb. He will cut off all the knots of your ignorance and doubt. Then he will travel all over the world. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you. So here he's saying Manavi. Who is Manavi? This daughter of Manu. Right? So he was addressing Karda Muni up to this point. Now he turned his attention to Devahuti and speaking directly to Devahuti, and he's saying, Esha Manavi, O daughter of Manu, Garbham, in your Garbha, Pravishtaha, entered, right? Pravishtaha, Kaitaba Ardhana. Can someone say why he's referring to Krishna as Kaitaba Ardhanaha, the killer of Kaitaba demon? In Bhagavad Gita, we see this. Prabhupada explains this point in the purport. So the point is, just like Krishna killed the demon Kaitaba, like even in Bhagavad Gita is that, Arjuna is saying, as you kill the demon Kaitaba, you actually kill the doubt in my heart. Right? So similarly, Brahma is actually making the point that personality who is the killer of demon Kaitaba has already entered in your womb, Garbham Pravishtaha. And then what will he do? Just like how he killed Kaitaba, he is going to kill the avidya and samshaya in your heart. Avidya is ignorance and samshaya is doubts. Right? Doubt. We have doubts in our life. Right? Who am I? Starting from that to even when we take a bhakti, we get doubt. I'm chanting Hare Krishna, but does this process really work? We get doubts. Right? Or is this devotee, is he really good? Oh, no, actually he is acting like this. We have doubts about the glory of a devotee. All those doubts. So the doubts in our heart and the avidya is cut. And and then he says, Gama Vicharishyati. And then he will travel all over the world. He'll travel all over. So, and Prabhupada again, he talks about what is the real avidya? It is forgetfulness of one's identity. And samshaya granthi is that doubt, right? Because we identify with this material world, hence we have so many designations. And based on designations, that ahankar, we have all these doubts. But the doubt can be cut away by proper knowledge from the Shastra, which is knowledge that is coming in disciplic succession. So Prabhupada stresses on that point. So by proper knowledge received from the scriptures in disciplic succession and by proper application of that knowledge, so again, jnana, vijnana, one can free himself from this binding combination of matter and spirit. So Brahma is telling Devavati, because Devavati was lamenting, oh, I did not make best use, I did not get liberation, though I was associating with you. And here Brahmaji is saying, don't worry, your son will give you that special gift, right? He will actually break away your knots and he will give you that highest Gyan and Vijnana. And Prabhupada talks about the mental speculators think, right? Similarly, they are all doubtful. So Prabhupada says, at the present moment, the so-called yoga system is prosecuted on the understanding that by agitation of the different stations of bodily construction, one can find that he is God. You see the sentence? What is Prabhupada saying? He's saying that these days, by the agitation of different stations of bodily construction. See Prabhupada's selection of words there. Agitation of different stations of bodily construction. What does it mean? Different stations. You agitate your different stations. That means you say this exercise, this asana, that asana. And people say, just do this asana and then you'll become God. Right? But that is all mental speculation. But if one receives this true knowledge, then all these doubts will actually go away. And then Prabhupada says the real knowledge is expounded in Bhagavad Gita. Just become Krishna conscious, just worship Krishna, become a devotee of Krishna. Which verse is this? Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Yeah? When you do these four things, then that is a real knowledge. 19.
Ayam siddha ganadhishaha sankhyacharyai susammataha loke kapila ityakyam gantate kirti vardanaha. Your son will be the head of all the perfected souls. He will be approved by the acharyas, expert in disseminating real knowledge. And among the people, he will be celebrated by the name Kapila. As a son of Devahuti, he will increase your fame.
So here he's saying again further activities. He's talking to Devahuti and saying, I am this personality of Godhead, Siddha Gana Adisha. He will be Siddha. Siddha means perfected stages. He will be Adisha. He will be the head of all perfected stages. He will be the top. Like how we say Prabhupada, at whose lotus feet so many Prabhus sit, right? At whose lotus feet so many Prabhus sit. So Siddha Gana Adisha, he'll be the head of all the perfected sages. Then next he said, Sankhya cha aivaha sa su samataha. He'll be approved by the great sages, expert in Sankhya philosophy. Right? All the sages who are, expert in Sankhya, they'll say, oh yes, this is him. He is the ultimate. He is the best. Right? Loka Kapila iti. Among all the Loka, he'll be known as what? Kapila Dev. Right? And then Ganta te Kirti Vardhana. He will actually increase your fame. So, imagine like Devavati is popular. Why? Because Kapila became a son. Devavati Putra Kapila. Right? So that way he's actually, Brahma is telling, you will become so famous. Why? Because Krishna has appeared as your son. And it's interesting in this purport, Prabhupada talks about again like Sankhya is a philosophical system initiated by Kapila, and there is the other Kapila. Right? How many times have we heard this? Even in lectures, Prabhupada says two Kapila, atheistic Kapila and Devavati Putra Kapila. Right? So another Kapila, he actually has comes and he gives this philosophy, which is talks of Sankhya, but he just stops at Mahatattva. And that's it. The Mahatattva is the highest, and he does not go beyond to understand your spirit soul and all that. So that is atheistic Kapila. Now it is so interesting that in this commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he makes the point that in Padma Purana, this atheistic Kapila's reference is there. Not only this Devavati Putra, even that atheistic Kapila is referred in Padma Purana and said that, oh, there will be another person by name Kapila and he will actually preach atheistic Sankhya. Amazing, right? It's like, normally we, like, at least my understanding when Prabhupada used to always mention, I was thinking, okay, sometimes some other Kapila was there, he preached this, and Prabhupada is warning us. But this is that in Padma Purana, the warning is there, saying that there'll be another Kapila who is atheistic, and that is contrary to the Vedas, is filled with bad logic. You should not accept that, but accept Devati Putra Kapila. His preaching will be full with meaning of all the Vedas. And then Prabhupada also talks about the two words here, Siddha Gana Adisha, right? So basically he says that what Kapila Dev will preach, that is going to be accepted by acharyas, who are directors of spiritual discipline, right? Those who are the heads of the spiritual sampradaya, they will accept all this, accept all the knowledge that Kapila Muni will give. Text 20. So this is basically Brahma stops speaking now, right? So let's see what happens further.
Maitreya Uvacha Tav Ashvasya Jagat Srashta Kumarai Saha Naradaha Hamso Hamsena Yanena Ridhama Paramam Yayo.
Hare Krishna. Sri Maitreya said, after thus speaking to Kardama Muni and his wife Devahuti, Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, who is also known as Hamsa, went back to the highest of the three planetary systems on his swan carrier with the four Kumaras and Narada. Hare Krishna.
So basically now Brahma, what did he do? Tao, referring to this couple, Aswasya. He actually spoke to this couple. He reassured them that you're so glorious. The Supreme Personality of God is appearing. So that way he assured him. And then who is this? Jagat Shrishta, the creator of the universe, has assured him. Tri Dhama Paramam Yayo. After this, where did he go? He went to Tri Dhama Parama, the highest of the three worlds, which is that Brahmaloka. So he went back to the highest planetary system, which is actually even above Siddhalok, which is actually Satyalok or Brahmalok. So he went back there. How did he go? Did he use a Tesla and go? Here it says Hamsena Yanena. Hamsena. His what is his carrier? Made of swan. So he went on his swan carrier back home to his planetary system, Brahmalok. And Kumarai Saha Narada. Kumara and the Narada, they had come, right? They went. Initially, when we read, what did we read? How did Brahma come? Along with Marichi. But now he's saying he left along with who? Narada and four Kumara. Why Marichi's name is not mentioned? Because now, Prabhupada explains the point of purpose. See, now is the time marriage is going to happen. 9 daughters are going to get married. Those who are brahmacharis, do they have any task there? No. Right? Brahmacharis, they don't attend marriages. Right? That's Maya for them. So, the four Kumaras, Narad Muni, they are brahmacharis, Naistik brahmacharis. So, not interested in marriage. They all leave. And then those Marichi, is that time he'll get married. So, they all left. Those sages were actually behind. So, Prabhupada mentions this in the purport. Right? So, Brahma is also known as Hamsa because his carrier is Hamsa, and also Hamsa, swan, is actually, he can grasp the essence of everything. Right? So, we make this Paramahamsa. Why is it called Paramahamsa? Because Hamsa means one who can actually differentiate if there's milk and water together, and Hamsa can go and separate the milk and water together. Similarly, a swan-like person can actually distinguish between spirit and matter. Right? So, because Brahma, he can grasp the essence. What is the essence of everything? He is also called as Hamsa. Okay, and then Prabhupada says how Marichi, Atri, they remained because they were to be married, but the brahmacharis, the Naistika brahmacharis, they say they were not to attend the marriage ceremony of their brothers. Their own brothers are getting married, but they said, no, we will not attend. I'm sure maybe at some instance, some brahmacharis may have used this Bhagavatam reference and said, see here, Prabhupada is saying that brahmacharis should not attend marriages. So we are going out to book distribution, you get married. Right? So, okay, text 20. Let's see what happens. Oh, sorry, 21. 21.
Gate shata drito kshata kardhamaste na choditaha yatoditam swaduhitri radad vishvasrajam tataha.
Hare Krishna. O Vidura, after the departure of Brahma, Kardama Muni, having been ordered by Brahma, handed over his 9 daughters as instructed to the 9 great sages who created the population of the world. Hare Krishna.
Vishwa Srijam. So Brahmaji actually told him, O Shata or Vidura, Brahma instructed you should get your daughters married to the foremost of the sages. And how? Yatha Shilam, Yatha. What was the other? Yatha Shilam, Yatha. Text 15. What did we read?
Ruchi. Ruchi, Prabhu. Yatha Shilam, Yatha Ruchi.
Yatha Ruchi. Yes, thank you. Yatha Shilam, Yatha Ruchi. According to that, you should hand over your daughters. And then now, Kardamuni is following the instructions of Brahma, and he actually is handing over his daughters. And then to whom? Vishwasrijam. They are all progenitors, Prajapatis, right? These sages are Prajapatis. So he's going to give them over to him. And Swaduhit, his own daughters. Okay. Next, let's see, 20 to 23.
Marichaye kalam pradhat anusuyamatatraye shradham angirase yachat pulastyaya havirbhuvam pulahaya gatim yuktam kritavecha kriyam satim kyatim cha brigave yachad vashishtayapyanu rundatim.
Okay, so basically he's talking about like who got married to whom, right? So if you have Subodhini, there's like a whole table. Kala getting married to Marichi, Anasuya getting married to Atri. So we'll read more about this Anasuya and Atri. Their marriage comes further in the Bhagavatam, their story. Shraddha gets married to Angira, Havirbhu, Pulatsya, Gati, Pulaha. Okay, someone can read translation.
Hare Krishna translation. Kardama Muni handed over his daughter Kala to Marichi and another daughter Anasuya to Atri. He delivered Shraddha to Angira and Havirbhu to Pulasya. He delivered Gati to Pulaha, the chaste Kriya to Kratu, Kayati to Bhrigu, and Arundhati to Vasishta. Hare Krishna.
We have heard about the sages, Bhrigu Rishi, Vashishta Rishi, Pulaha, Angira Rishi, right? In different stories, we hear about these sages. And here we are talking about their marriage. Right? Next verse. Continue. We're going to continue. Who else?
Text 24. Atharvane dadach chantim yaya yagyo vitanyate viprar shabhan krito dvahan sadaran samalayat.
He delivered Shanti to Arthava. Because of Shanti, sacrifice ceremonies are well performed. Thus he got the foremost Brahmanas married and he maintained them along with their wives. Hare Krishna.
So here Shanti. How do we end any yagya? Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. So he's saying because of his Shanti, all sacrificial ceremonies will be well performed. And then he said after the marriage, then Kardama Muni, he actually maintained them, both the wife, his daughter, and the son-in-law for some time. Okay, so and then after they leave. Okay, 25.
Tatasta rishayakshata kritadara nimantriyatam pratishtan nandim apana swam ashrama mandalam.
Thus married, the sages took leave of Kardama and departed full of joy, each of their own, for his own hermitage, O Vidura.
Yeah. So after they got married, Pratishtha and Nandim, they were very happy with the marriage, because we read how the daughters were so qualified. They were thin-waisted and very chaste, right? So the rishis are very happy, and then they departed, and then they went to Swam Ashram Mandalam. They all went to their each ashram, their own hermitage. So next section is basically from 26 until 34 is now Kapila Muni has appeared, right? So now Kardama Muni is going to speak to Kapila. So the prayers of Kardama Muni to Kapila. So that's until text 34. 34. So let's do that in the next section. Any comments or any points so far? I think you'd like to add to the entire
I have 2 questions. The first one is, so we saw that Devahuti wanted to have children, And then we saw that the first 9 daughters, they were just born overnight and they were just grown up also, like in one day. She did not get to um like shower her motherly affection or do anything for her children. So how is that justified? Like so it what was the so the purpose was only for them to kind of be born and increase the population or produce progeny.
I
Is
mean,
that
we read about the point that, on the same day the daughters were born, like
no.
to 9 months. But after that, actually, I mean, it's not mentioned that, oh,
I I thought we read somewhere that
very
they were
quickly they grew up.
also like grown up immediately. I thought we read it somewhere. I may be mistaken. I'm sorry then.
No, maybe that's true. I think I don't remember whether it came across. I see the point is, the point is more of Bhagavatam's emphasis on the story. Like, there's so many points to talk about, like, So what we saw, the emphasis was devotees' austerity, then their union, and
Mm.
how, like they enjoyed for 100 autumns. So that was described. And immediately daughters, okay, 9 daughters. And then not for so much focus because it wants to move, the scene wants to move to Kapila, his appearance, right? So, I mean, I
Okay.
never thought about the point that you mentioned that she did not express her motherly love, but she's going to express it to Kapila by
To
having
couple there. Yeah.
this whole conversation.
My second question was regarding Sankhya philosophy and Bhagavad Gita philosophy. So, how are they different, and why is Bhagavad Gita more preached than Sankhya philosophy? Is it because it's Krishna himself, and Sankhya philosophy is part of Krishna?
So, if you see in the Bhagavad Gita in the second chapter, like text number 37, Krishna says, "Thus far I have explained to you this knowledge based on Sankhya. Now I will explain in terms of, like he talks of like
Bhakti.
bhakti, yeah, buddhi yoga, etc. But he says what initially that entire section from 2.11 where he talks of the body, we are not the body, we are spirit soul. That's all Sankhya. And then later on in the fifth chapter, Krishna actually makes the point that this Sankhya and Bhakti, the one who actually sees a difference between them, that is not the right vision because both of them are aimed towards that perfection of coming to the point of finally surrender to Krishna.
So one
One,
is a stepping stone for the other.
yeah. Like so
Okay.
one who actually sees a difference between Sankhya and devotional service, that is not clear vision because Sankhya leads to bhakti. And that's what we are going to see in
Okay.
the few chapters. He'll talk of
Okay.
Sankhya, how Sankhya leads to bhakti, and mystic yoga, and that also how that leads to bhakti. So, so Bhagavad Gita, one way, already has the philosophy of Sankhya. Not, I mean, yeah, I mean, it talks of, body and soul. All that is all Sankhya, actually.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Hare Krishna.
Just to add to the first question, is that I just looked in the previous chapter. It says that like after he impregnated her, immediately that same day she gave birth to 9 children. But it doesn't say that they grew up immediately. It just says they were all charming in every limb, and so there's no mention that they grew up.
Thank you. Thank you for that point. Yeah. Okay. So maybe she had that experience of raising the children. But after, the main point we read is how Kardamuni decides to leave and then how they wrote these lamentations. Okay. Any other points?
Actually, I like the point that all desires are fulfilled by Krishna, whether they are material or they are spiritual.
Okay.
Prabhu, I was thinking how the Hamsa, of Lord Brahmaji has been mentioned. So, how Hamsa Vahan is there. Lord Shiva comes on that swan to hear Gaur Katha in Naimisharanya in Mayapur. So I was remembering that pastime of how the Hamsa is so significant. The Hamsa is really fast, million times faster than your Tesla. So
So Brahmaji comes on the Hamsa carrier to hear Bhagavatam.
yeah, you have not gone there? It is in Madhyadev Prabhu, very close to Godru. There is this, so there is a Naimisharanya, right? In Mayapur also. So there is Naimisharanya. So there, the same rishis, Sutta Goswami, along with Sanakadi Rishi, they come and sit and hear Gaura Bhagavat, Chaitanya Bhagavat. So they sit there and hear Mahaprabhu's pastimes, everybody, and then Lord Shiva figures out that there is this going on. So he calls his bull to come, but the bull is very slow. By the time he comes from Kailash, it will be finished. So he rushed to Brahmaji and grabs his swan and flies. And he makes the swan fly so fast that he had to actually lie down so that there's so much air coming. So if you see the deity, the swan on top of the back of the swan is Lord Shiva lying down.
Oh.
So he zoops in and he hears the whole katha of Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Navadvip. The deity is still there.
Oh, amazing. I've not been there. I didn't hear that. So nice. Amazing. So even in the higher worlds, they borrow others' car. Can I borrow your car, Prabhu? I have to have some urgent thing to do and come there. Amazing. So Brahmaji was also there, or?
That is the thing, Prabhu. That is the only thing that it is not mentioned. But like you borrowed somebody's car to come to a program and you do not take him.
That person. Was it?
Brahmaji is not there. It's just Lord Shiva who comes.
Interesting. Okay. So let's continue. We'll maybe do a few more shlokas and then we'll take a break. So 26.
Sachavartirnam triyugam agyaya vibhudarshabham vivikta upasangamya pranamya samabhashata. Gopinath Acharya Prabhu.
And Karda Muni understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chief of all demigods, Vishnu, had descended. Kardam approached him in a secluded place, offered obeisances, and spoke as follows.
Yeah. So particularly here, Triyugam is actually mentioned. Saha, the sage Kardama, Avatirnam, descended Triyugam, Vishnu. So Prabhupada in purport focuses on this Triyuga. Triyuga, why? Because Krishna actually, he appears only in three yugas. Right? So what is the proof for this? Right? So then if he appears only in Satya, in Dwapar and Treta, then one may say, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come, right? But why is it called three yuga and not four yuga, right? And then the point that's the point Prabhupada explains in the purport, and he gives reference one of Prahlad Maharaj and one of Rupa Goswami. So one reference of Prahlad Maharaj is 7:9:38. Right? You can see my screen. So itam nri tir yaga rishi deva javasara. So even here, Prahlad Maharaj is actually saying, in this way, my Lord, you appear in various incarnations as a human being, animal, a grain seed, a demigod, a fish, or tortoise, thus maintaining the entire creation in different planetary systems and killing the demoniac principle. According to the age, O my Lord, you protect the principles of religion. In the age of Kali, however, you do not assert yourself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore you are known as Tri Yuga, or the Lord who appears in three yugas. So, if you want a proof of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's right here. Prahlad Maharaj is actually making the point that how the Lord is known as Tri Yuga. And it comes in Kali Yuga, but he does not actually establish himself that I am Vishnu himself. So he comes as a Channa avatar, hidden incarnation. And then second point Prabhupada says is about Rupa Goswami. How Rupa Goswami, is it Srivas Thakur? Yeah. This is a whole pastime, right? Where Lord, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hiding his identity as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then once Srivas Thakur came to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he put his hand like this to the sun. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking, like, what is this? He said, I'm covering the sun. He said, how can you cover your sun with your hand? He said, like, as I cannot cover the sun with your hand, you cannot cover that you yourself, oh Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are the Supreme Personality of God. The sun, who can cover the sun? That way, who can cover you? You are yourself that Supreme Personality of God. And then here, Prabhupada quotes Rupa Goswami, when he saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, immediately he detected. Prabhupada says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be hidden from his pure devotees. Wherever the pure devotees are, they'll see, oh yeah, my Lord has appeared here. Right? So hence he actually quoted the verse, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya. This is actually, what is he doing? Krishna Prema. He's giving Krishna Prema to everyone, but Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya. He is actually Krishna himself. So Rupa Goswami identified Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna himself. Right? So he does not directly appear, but he appears in the form of a devotee. So that is first Sri Yuga, that he appears in 3 yugas, not in the 4th, 2 references. And further, Prabhupada says, 3 yuga could also refer to 3 pairs of opulences. Right? So we know 6, Sadaishwarya Purna. So they are divided into pairs, riches and strength, fame and beauty, wisdom and renunciation. So 3 pairs of those attributes. So hence he is called Sri Yuga. Okay, so here basically Kardama Agyaya, having understood Tri Yugam Vibhuda Risham, the Vishnu who is Vibhuda Rishab. Rishabham, what does Prabhupada say? What to it? Rishabham. Oh yeah, Vibhuda Rishabham, the chief of all the demigods. So he understood that Vishnu has now appeared. What did he do? He says Upasangamya. He actually approaches Vishnu in Vivikte, in a secluded place. Then Pranamya, offer obeisances, and then he speaks. And so he approaches Kapila in a secluded place, and then he speaks. Why does he approach Kapila in a secluded place?
You wanted to glorify him in private?
Okay, yeah, that point is there. Like, like imagine what is the relationship right now? Father and son. So the father is going to glorify the son. That is one point. But also in this, he's going to make a request to his son, which the wife should not hear. Right? And what is that request? He's requested, okay, now you're up here. Now my duties are done. I want to take sannyas. So he's going to ask all this. He's going to glorify and he's also make this request. So hence he approaches Kapila in private and then he says the following. Okay, next verse. 27.
Aho papach yamananam nirayesvar amangalai kalena bhuya sharnunam prasidanti hadevataha.
Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kardam Muni said,
Wait a minute.
Mataji, it's Karuna Mataji's turn first.
Oh,
Kardama Muni said, "Oh, after a long time, the demigods of this universe have become pleased with the suffering souls who are in material entanglement because of their own misdeeds."
So why is it like this is the first verse that Kardamuni is telling Kapila. And he says, Aho, oh, Papa cha mananam. With those who are actually very much affected by their own sinful activities. So Prabhupada in the purport explains that point. We'll come back to this. And then he says, Niraye, in the hellish material entanglement, and amangalai, by misdeeds. And then he makes the point, Kalena Bhuyasha Nunam Prasidanti Devataha. So in this world, so those people who are actually suffering in this world, suffering the hellish condition of this world, due to their own misdeeds, the demigods are pleased with them only after a very long time. Is this true? So what is the direct understanding? That the demigods are pleased with those who are suffering in this material world only after a long time. Normally, when we say, like, why do people actually approach demigods? Fourth chapter Bhagavad Gita, what does Krishna say?
For material sense gratification.
Yeah, and then why demigods? Why not Krishna?
They want
Quickly.
Very
results.
quickly, the demigods very quickly actually please this personality. But here is saying the demigods, after a long time, they are actually pleased, with all these suffering people. What is the point here? The point here is actually that people are suffering in this material world, and the demigods, they see all the people suffering. But only after a long time, they actually come to Vishnu and say, "Oh, Vishnu, please see the suffering and do something about it." So, why is he making this as the first point? That he's saying that even for the demigods, it takes a long time for you to appear to the demigods. But for me, you have very quickly appeared. And this is only because of your mercy. Though I am not so qualified, I am neither a demigod, I have no qualities, but it's only out of your mercy, the causeless mercy, that you have appeared to me so soon, so immediately, that even demigods, they have to wait for a long time for the Lord to actually descend. Is it clear, this verse?
But Prabhuji, actually, in our calculations, even Kardama Muni performed austerities for thousands of years.
But Kardamuni, we see, what is the point? The point is a devotee always has a mood of humility. So he's actually saying, he's not seeing that what I have done. Like we started the class with this point. What is the mood of a devotee? Now Kardamuni will actually say, I am just a grahastha. I'm not like all these sages. And you have appeared to me. So what is Kardamuni focusing on? Not how much austerities he did. He's focusing on how I'm a married man. Grahastha, normally Grahastha ashram means of all the four ashrams, Grahastha is considered the ashram where there is more entanglement, more duties, more interaction with the material world. Remaining three, Brahmachari, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, they have a bigger element of detachment, bigger element of austerity. But Grahastha ashram, so he's saying, I'm a Grahastha, yet you appear to me. But is the point okay? That the demigods, they approach the Lord only after a long time. In spite of all the sufferings that's happening in this world, they will approach the Lord only after a long time, and then the Lord will actually appear. But for me, Vishnu, you appear so quickly. And this has to be only your causeless mercy. There is nothing on my side that you have actually appeared. This is only your causeless mercy. Right? So Prabhupada in the purport, you can read that one sentence. Prabhupada says that he says, after a long time, when there's too much heat from the sins of conditioned souls, then demigods approach Vishnu, and then Vishnu descends, and then the demigods are enlivened. So if you see when Krishna appeared, what happened? Mother Earth was overburdened with sin, and there was so much sin. Right? Did Mother Earth say, okay, immediately sin, let me go and complain? No, she tolerated until it came to a point where it was like, oh, this is intolerable. Unless Vishnu comes, nothing. Then she approached Brahmaji, and then Brahmaji. So after a very long time, so they tolerate all the sins that's happening. And after a long time, they say, okay, now this is out of hand. Let's approach Vishnu. And then Vishnu will appear. Right? But for Kardama, he appeared so quickly. Right. And then the other point Prabhupada actually makes is how the material world, the place of suffering, and why is there suffering? Because of our own misdeeds. I mean, this is one point that it is hard to realize this point. Like even if you go out, in an assembly, you actually say that would you do anything that would increase your own suffering? The answer would be no. No, why will I do something that will increase? But actually, our life is in such a way that we are doing things again and again just to increase our own suffering. Like, people may drink and say, oh, no, it's okay. What will happen? You're increasing your own suffering. Meat. You are increasing your own suffering. So here, this verse is actually making the point that people are suffering because of their own acts. It's not that someone else is actually responsible. You are doing a mistake and hence you are suffering, right? And hence this material world is all because of the misdeeds of the inhabitants. So suffering is not extraneously imposed. It's not like, oh, I like to give pains to you and hence no, you did it and hence it's you're responsible, right? You ate bad food and hence now your stomach is hurting. You are responsible for it, right? So, and then Prabhupada also makes a point that, uh, yeah. So, yeah. Okay, so I think that's the point. Okay, next sloka. Everyone okay with this? Why he immediately starts off with the demigods and he makes the point that it's actually demigods so long, but now it's. And then now second. So there are three categories he's saying. So first is the demigods. Second verse, he'll talk of the yogis. Does the Lord appear to the yogis immediately? Yes or no? All right. Okay, let's see. 28.
Bahujanma vipagvena samyag yoga samadhina drashtum yatante yataya shunyagareshu yatpadam.
So the verse itself starts with Bahujanma. Right? To the yogis, how does the Lord appear? Does he appear immediately? No, Bahujanma. Okay, translation.
Now Kushalya Mataji.
Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. After many births, mature yogis by complete trance in yoga endeavor in secular places to see the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So here, first is the demigod category. Second, he's saying yogis. About the yogis, after many births, which is the verse in Bhagavad Gita? Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Ma Prapadyate. Right? So that is Gyanis. Here is talking of the yogis. And the yogis, Vipakvena and Samyak. Only when their yoga reaches the stage of maturity and perfection, then Yatante Yataha Sunya Agareshu. Yogis endeavoring in secluded place and they reach the stage of yoga samadhina. When they reach the completion or the samadhi in their yoga, then they can actually see the lotus feet of the personality of God. So even for yogis, they have to do their yoga in perfection, in maturity, after such a long time when they're doing their yoga in a secluded place. And then when they reach the stage of samadhi, yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, then they can actually see the lotus feet of the Lord. Right? So yogis also, it is so hard. But for demigods is so hard. For yogis is so hard. How come you have appeared to me so easily? Right? So that's the mood here. Right? So Prabhupada in the purport makes a point that when Samyak Yoga Samadhina means what? When the yoga becomes mature and perfect. Right? And when does someone's yoga becomes mature and perfect? If you know the mood of Prabhupada in his purport, what would be the point here? When does a yogi's yoga become complete and perfect?
After many, many births.
Okay, but understanding Prabhupada's mood, when you say it is perfect?
When they come to Bhakti Yoga.
When they come to Bhakti Yoga. So Prabhupada makes the point that here, when it actually says that Vivakvena and Samyak, that means yogis, after many, many austerities, when they finally come to surrender, take shelter of Krishna, then they can see the lotus feet of the Lord. So even for yogis, it's not easy. They have to go through so much austerities, right? Okay, 29.
Sa eva bhagavan adya hela namna ganayana griheshu jatu gramyanam yasvanam pakshaposhanaha.
Not considering the negligence of ordinary householders like us, that very same Supreme Personality of Godhead appears in our homes just to support his devotees.
So now the first and second verse is complete. That point is completed here, right? Third verse. Now he says, Saha Eva, that very same Lord. Who is that very same Lord? That very same Lord, who is approached by demigods after a long time, who is attained by yogis after a long time, that very same Lord, Adya, today, Helanam na ganaya. Not considering griheshu grama yanam. Not considering negligence or high and low in ordinary household. He's saying his household is ordinary. Is Kardam Muni's household ordinary? It is one of the best examples of devotee household grahasthas, right? But in his mode of humility, he's saying, not considering that his grahastha ashram is like the, one way the most entangled of the other ashramas, and just in an ordinary household, jataha, you have appeared. Swana paksha poshana, just to support swana. Swanam. The Swanam word is very important here. Swanam means his own devotees. So what is the point that the Kardam Muni is actually saying? That we are grahasthas, but still today you have appeared. Why? Because you have considered us your own. And Prabhupada here basically makes the point that devotees are so affectionate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the Lord does not consider what is their external situation, and the Lord would personally appear them. Right? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually makes the point. So first category, demigod. Second category, yogi. Now he says third category. And he says, now Kardam Muni is actually saying, of the three, we are the most lazy. That's his humility. He's saying that we are so lazy, we are just ordinary grahasthas, right? So, but still you have actually appeared here. Okay, and Prabhupada says how the Lord is known as Bhakta Vatsala. Is he known as Jnani Vatsala? Is he known as Yogi Vatsala? Is he known as Devata Vatsala? No, he's known as Bhakta Vatsala. So here, that's the point, that he's more inclined to the devotees. Therefore, he does not appear in person to the Jnanis, to the Yogis, but to the devotees, even though they may be householders, even though they may have other, other situation, unfavorable situation, but because they have bhakti, the Lord appears. Okay. Prabhupada says such a nice point here. He says, devotional service is such a powerful transcendental method that it surpasses all other methods of transcendental realization. All other methods are surpassed by bhakti. Right? Bhakti, devotional service, is the highest of all. Right? And then Prabhupada, in relationship, he quotes different shlokas. 1855, Bhakti Amam Abhijanati. Krishna is clearly saying, I can be known only through bhakti. Then 11th chapter, text 54, right? Bhaktya Tva Ananya Shakya Aham Evam Vidojana. That I can be understood only by undivided devotional service. And then also Prabhupada quotes this verse, Naham Tishtami Vaikunte. Right? I do not reside in Vaikuntha. Yoginam Hridayeshuva, not in the heart of the yogis. Tatra Tishtami Narada Yatra Gayanti Mad Bhakta. When my devotee Gayanti sings my glories, I appear right away. I am always there in that assembly. So how the Lord is actually conquered by bhakti, devotional service, and hence here Kardam Muni is saying that I have no qualification, only out of your causeless mercy, and because you considered us as devotees, you have now appeared to us. Okay, text 30. Okay, everyone. So 1, 2, 3 are kind of complete the whole, that the picture of why he quoted 1 and 2. Right? Okay, next.
Text 30. Siyam vakyamritam kartum avatirno sime grihe chikir shur bhagavan jnanam bhaktanam manavardhanaha.
Hare Krishna. Kardam Muni said, You, my dear Lord, who are always increasing the honor of your devotees, have descended in my home just to fulfill your word and disseminate the process of real knowledge.
So Kartam Swiyam Rakyam Ritam, to make your own words true. When did Vishnu actually tell Kardama that I will appear? Everyone remembers, right? What was the storyline? Kardama Muni did austerities, and then who appeared? Vishnu appeared. And he said what? I will appear as your own son. So now Kardama Muni is referring back and he's saying that time, so he didn't, it's not that in Grihastha Ashram he enjoyed for 100 autumns and he forgot. So that time you made the word that you would appear as my son, and now just to fulfill your promise, you have now appeared, right? And then you have descended to my house, and What are you going to do? Chikesu Jnanam. Just to disseminate the real knowledge, Bhaktana Manavardhana, and to actually increase the honor of your devotees, you will actually appear. You have actually appeared, sorry, you have actually appeared. Right? And Prabhupada in his purport, what does it mean to increase the honor of your devotees? The Lord has appeared to increase the honor of his devotees. What does that mean here? Why is Kardama making the point that you have appeared to increase the honor of your devotees?
Just like Brahma said, right, to Devahuti, that because you have your son as Kapila Muni, your fame will be increased. So in a way, he's, the devotee is getting more honor.
Yeah, yeah. So here, when Kardamuni is saying that Bhaktana Manavardhana, to increase the honor of your devotees, first point is just that the Lord has appeared to Kardama and Devahuti, who are grahasthas, that actually glorifies that devotee. Then second point is the Lord is going to speak on what? Sankhya, that actually leads to bhakti. So that way, again, he's going to glorify devotional service. So that way, your appearance is just to increase the honor of your devotees, to glorify devotional service. 31.
तानेव तेभिरूपाणि रूपाणि भगवंस्तव यानि यानि च रोचन्ते स्वजनानम् अरूपिणः.
My dear Lord, although you have no material form, you have your own innumerable forms. They truly are your transcendental forms, which are pleasing to your devotees. Hare Krishna.
So here he's saying Bhagavan, O Lord, and he says Yani Yani Rochante Swajanana. So Yani Yani means whichever forms are actually pleasing to your devotees, those forms you actually accept and appear. Right? And you have Tani Abhi Rupani Rupani. And those forms you appear are innumerable. So many. Which is the verse from Bhagavad Gita where the Lord has unlimited forms. Which is the verse, Brahma Samhita? Ramadi Murtishu Kalaniyamena Chista Nana Avatara. Right? Nana Avatara. So many different. Right? Even the other one. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadi, Ananta Rupam. So many rupas. Right? So Prabhupada quotes those verses from the Brahma Samhita also. So here he's saying the Yani Rani Rochanti. Whichever are pleasing to your own devotees, Tani, those forms you actually accept. Right? But all these forms are Arupinaha. Arupinaha means they are not material. They are completely transcendental. Right? So, okay, complete transcendental. And I was going to put a question, but maybe that's not required at this point. Okay? And okay, so Prabhupada quotes on this verse, Arupinaha. What is Prabhupada's mood? Right? So Prabhupada's mood is what? Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschaddesha. His mood is wherever there's opportunity, he has to smash the Mayavadi. So he says, Arupina. Mayavadi will say, oh, see here, Arupinaha. That means the Lord has no Rupa. Lord has no Rupa. But here Prabhupada says, he already has, in the first sentence, made the point that you have so many Rupas, right? And you appear based on the devotee's desire. And then, if you consider the second line to mean arupinaha, means no form, then it contradicts the first one. Like, who would say that, oh, you have so many forms, but yet you have no form? I mean, that's a contradiction. You have so many forms, yet you have no form. And then, hence, arupina means you have so many transcendental forms, and yet you have no material form. So, none of these forms are actually material. You are completely spiritual, transcendental. There's actually another reference we read in third canto in the 9th chapter, text number 11, 3, 9, 11, where it's a very nice, we already discussed this verse earlier, where in this verse we see, O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the years by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take a seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. If the devotee thinks of a Lord in a particular form, that's the form that the Lord will actually appear. Okay, let's see. And then Prabhupada also quotes the point of Hanuman. He says there's a shloka, and anyway, if someone wants to do this research and find which shloka this is probably from Ramayana, or I don't know where this is from. But Prabhupada says that once Hanuman, he actually knew that, okay, Narayan is same as Lord Ramchandra. Lakshmi is same as Sita. But for me, I just want Ram and Sita. I'm not interested in Narayan and Lakshmi. I'm attracted to Lord Ramchandra and Sita. And why Prabhupada is making this point? That we are all attracted to a particular form, right? Our Ishta Deva, we say, right? Ishta Deva. And that is the form the Lord will appear. Now, for us as Gaudiya, who is our Ishta Deva?
Radharani. Radha Krishna.
Radha Krishna. And there's
Radha Shyam Sundar.
Radha Golokananda. I'm just kidding.
yes. In this purport of what's this 1850. I think it is 65. Let me share my screen. So Prabhupada actually makes this our mood of Gaudiya Vaishnava. Yeah, right here. Let me share my screen. Okay. So you can see my screen? See Prabhupada's mood. When this is the Manmana Bhava Madbhakta verse. So Prabhupada says, this is our Ishtadev. These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with two hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with a beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in Brahma Samhita. One should fix his mind on this original form of Godhead. One should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has so many forms like Vishnu, Narayan, Rama, Varaha, etc. But the devotee should concentrate his mind on this form, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Wearing a peacock feather, particularly Prabhupada is mentioning. So, Aradhya Bhagwan, Brajeshwar Tanai. Our Lord is who? The son of the king of Braja, Nanda Maharaj. Our Lord Krishna is Nanda son. That's our Lord. That's our Ishtadev. Right? So Prabhupada makes a point. So Hanumanji, for him Ramchandra. He may see Narayan, but for him only Ramchandra. Like how the famous the gopis and Ras Leela, right? When Krishna actually he disappears, the gopis are searching, and then they see who? They see Narayan, four-handed Narayan. And then they go, they do their pranam and say like, okay, they offer obeisances. And then they say, did you see Krishna? Narayan is right there. And they're saying, did you see Krishna? Because their Ishtadev is only Krishna. Okay, 32. Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Let's take a quick break and then we'll continue. Where's it? 32, 33, 34. Okay, 3 more verses are there. So let's take a quick break and then we'll come back. So one point before everyone goes. So on 17 and 20, fourth, right? There's a presentation, right? So everyone, I saw most of you have signed up. Gopinath Prabhu and Mataji, I don't think I saw you sign up. Can you please select like one chapter or two chapters, from the presentation? And I think everyone else here on the group, anyone else who's not signed up, please do if you are not. So, and it's only 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes, right? So you just give the summary of the chapter with the main essential points, right? And that way, that will be your presentation for this third canto, first part. And yeah, and then the essay, I know it's due. I put the dates on the group. So, yeah. Okay, thank you all so much. So let's take a 5 minutes break. We'll continue at 9. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
मुनीन्द्रवृन्दवन्दिते त्रिलोकशोकहारिणि प्रसन्नवक्त्रपङ्कजे निकुञ्जभूविलासिनि व्रजेन्द्रभानुनन्दिनि व्रजेन्द्रसूनुसङ्गते कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अशोकवृक्षवल्लरि वितानमण्डपस्थिते प्रवालवालपल्लव प्रभारुणाङ्घ्रिकोमले वराभयात् स्फुरत्करे प्रभूतसम्पदालये कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अनङ्गरङ्गमङ्गल प्रसङ्गभङ्गुराभ्रुवं सविभ्रमं ससभ्रमं दृगन्तमानपातने निरन्तरमशीकृता प्रतीतिनन्दनन्दने कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् सुवर्णचम्पक प्रदीप्तगौरविग्रहे मुखाप्रभापरास्तकोटिशारदेन्दुमण्डले विचित्रचित्रसञ्जरा चकोरशावलोचने कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् मदोन्मदातियौवने प्रमोदमानमण्डिते प्रियानुरागरञ्जिते कलाविलासपण्डिते अनन्यधान्यगोचराजकामकेलिकोविदे कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् अशेषहावभावधीर हीरहारभूषिते प्रभूतशातकुम्भकुम्भकुम्भिकुम्भसुस्तनि प्रशास्तमानहास्यचूर्णपूर्णसौख्यसागरे कदा करिष्यसि मां कृपाकटाक्षभाजनम् मृणालवा शरणम्
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. So please come back. We'll continue. So let's read the next verse. We have 3 more verses for the prayers of Karda Muni, and then we'll see how Kapila responds to Karda Muni. Right? So 32.
Text 32. Tvam suripistat vabibhutsadyadha sadha bhivadarhana padapitham Aishwarya Vairagya Yashovabodha Virya Shriya Purtamaham Prapadye.
Hare Krishna. 324:32. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the reservoir that always deserves to receive worshipful homage from all great sages eager to understand the absolute truth. You are full of opulence, renunciation, transcendental fame, knowledge, strength, and beauty. And therefore I surrender myself unto your lotus feet. Hare Krishna.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So here, there are 2 parts to this sloka. The first part is Tvam. He's actually referring, O Lord, or Kapila Dev. And he's saying, Surabhi Bhuvatsya Tattva. So great sages, Surabhi, they are those who are actually desire to understand, those who are desiring to understand you. What did they do? Adaha Sada. Certainly, they always do what? Abhivada Avaham Pada. They actually offer homage to your lotus feet. So the way we can actually understand those who are desiring to understand the Lord, the way you can understand is by taking shelter of the lotus feet. That is the only way we can understand. Why is that the only way? Because the Lord is, and then the next part of shloka. And he says, Aishwarya means what? Opulence. Vairagya, renunciation. Yashaha, fame. Avabodha, knowledge. Virya, strength. Shriya, beauty. So what are the 6 opulence of the Lord? All those 6 are listed here. Opulence, renunciation, fame, knowledge, strength, beauty. And then Purtam. Purtam means full. Like how Prabhupada makes this a point in the classes we hear. Like here in this world, someone can claim to be a very rich man and has millions of dollars or billions of dollars. But can he claim to have all the wealth of the world? No, he can. Only Krishna can. So Purnam means he has all the opulences. He has all the fame. He has all the knowledge, all the strength, all beauty, all renunciation. Incomplete. Right? And hence I'm going to surrender unto him. So the way to understand, one way a possessor of Bhagavan means a possessor of these 6 opulences. One who possesses all these 6 opulences in full, right? The way to actually approach the infinite is to actually take shelter of it. There is no other way one can actually understand the infinite unless one actually bows down to him and mood of surrender actually approaches him. So Prabhupada in the purport makes the point that how Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he advises Arjun many times to surrender unto him. Man mana bhava mad bhakto, 9th chapter, 18th chapter, right? Yoginam api sarvesham, right? Or sarva dharma parityaja. All these shlokas, Krishna is saying again and again, Mam ekam sharanam praja. Just take surrender unto me. Only by the surrender we can actually understand Krishna, because Krishna is the infinite. Right? The infinite can be understood only when the infinite chooses to reveal himself to us. And he will choose to reveal himself to us only when we approach him in the mood of humility, in the mood of devotion. Right? Okay, 33.
Param Pradhanam Purusham Mahantam Kalam Kavim Trivritam Lokapalam Atmanubhutyānugata prapancham swachanda shaktim kapilam prapadye.
So in the previous verse, he's made the point that why he's surrendering unto the Lord, and he's already made the point that you are actually anyone who desires to know you. The only way to understand is to surrender. Why? Because you are full with six opulences. Hence, I surrender unto you. Now he's further he's continuing and he says Param. He says last word if you see Kapilam Prapadye. I surrender unto you. Why? And then we'll see. So this verse has 9 reasons why Kapila Muni is choosing to surrender unto the Lord. Okay, so let's read translation.
I surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, descended in the form of Kapila, who is independently powerful and transcendental, who is the Supreme Person and the Lord of the sum total of matter and the element of time, who is the fully cognizant maintainer of all the universes under the 3 modes of material nature, and who absorbs the material manifestations after their dissolution.
So what are the 9 points? The first one is Kapila Muni saying, I am surrendering unto you. Why? Because you are Param. Param means transcendental. And Prabhupada refers to Bhagavatam 1.1.1. What is that? Janmadya yasya yatonmaya itaratas charteshu abhigya swarat. And that is Param Satyam Dhimahi. Param Satyam. Right? So this is a summum bonum of everything. The essence, the highest essence of everyone is actually the Supreme Person. Hence he is Param, he is transcendental. First point. Second, Pradhanam. Pradhanam Purusham. That means he is the Supreme Person. He is the chief origin, he is the source of everything, and he is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam. Therefore he is Purusham Pradhanam. Third point, Mahantam. Mahantam means he is actually the origin of this material world. Aham evasam evagre. When the material world dissolves, who is that personality who remains? That is the Lord himself, right? So hence he is the origin. He is the original creator of this material world. So he is Mahantam. Point number 4, Kalam. Kalam means his time himself. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says what? Kalosmi. Time I am, right? So he is time himself. Kavim. Kavim means he is fully cognizant, right? Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, what does he say? Vedaham samatitani vartamani cha arjuna bhavishani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kachana. I know past, I know present, I know the future, I know everything, right? So he is actually fully cognizant. He's Kavim. Then Trivritam Lokapalam. So Lokapala means one who actually maintains the Loka, right? He maintains all the universes. Trivritam through the 3 modes of material nature. With the 3 modes of material, he's controlling the 3 modes of material nature, and through the 3 modes, he is actually maintaining this entire universe. Right? Number 6, right? Number 7, Atma Anubhatya Anugata, right? And Prapancham. He dissolves the material manifestation. How? By his Atma Anubhatya, by his own internal potency. Not only he creates, right? He creates, he's the original creator, he's the maintainer through the 3 modes, but he also annihilates, right? So when the material universes dissolve, they actually go back into the body of Mahavishnu, right? So he is actually, by his own internal potency, he dissolves the material world. Then, point number 8, Swachanda. He's completely independent, right? Bhagavatam first shloka, what does it say? Swarat, right? He's completely independent, Swarat. And then last one is Shakti. Shakti means he is all powerful, right? So Parasya Shaktir Vividaya Shrute. Everything in this world is happening because of the Shakti of the Lord, right? So that is Shakti. He is all powerful through his Shaktis, through his potencies. So these are 9 qualities Kapila Muni is saying. It's a nice verse, like in first shloka of Bhagavatam, 7 qualities, right? And then Vyasadeva is saying, Satyam Param Dhimai, hence I meditate. And here Kapil Dev is saying 9 qualities, hence I surrender. Prapadye, I surrender unto you. 34.
Text 34. Asmabhipritchedya patim prajanam tvaya vatirnarna utapta kamaha parivrajat padavim ashtitoham charishye tvam hridiyunjan vishokaha.
Hare Krishna. Today I have something to ask from you, who are the Lord of all living entities. Since I have now been liberated by you from my debts to my Father, and since all my desires are fulfilled, I wish to accept the order of an itinerant mendicant. Renouncing this family life, I wish to wander about, free from lamentation, thinking always of you in my heart.
Okay. So, very interesting. Up to this point, he's glorified. Oh Lord, you're this, you're Param Satyam, you're Pradhanam. And now he's saying, okay, I have one request. What is the request? So he says, Asma Abhipricha. I am asking something from you. Adya. Now I'm asking something from you. Patim Prajanam. Oh Lord of all created beings. Right? Then he said, Avartina Raha. He said, I have now become free from all debts. What all debts? I mean, the point that Prabhupada is explaining is like we are debted to Devarsi, what's it? Devarsi Bhutatma Nirnam Pitinam, right? So we are, as soon as we take birth, we are in debt to the Deva, demigods, and then Pitra, also the forefathers. So now he is making the point that my debt to my forefathers is actually now taken care of. Why? Because a son has been born, right? So that is the debt. So he says that now I become free of all debts, right? The debt of father to produce offspring, that has been taken care of. And Apta Kamaha, and all my desires have now been fulfilled. Everything has been perfect, right? Now, what am I asking? Parivraja. Parivrajakacharya. Everyone has heard this? Parivrajakacharya. So he's saying, Parivraja padavim astitaha. I am asking you, give me permission to become a Parivraj. That means to become an itinerant mendicant. To accept the path of an itinerant mendicant. And why do you want to do that? Charishe. I wish to wander about. Tvam Ridi. Thinking always of you in my heart. Yunjam Vishokaha. Free from all lamentation. I mean, who would do this? The Supreme Personality of God has appeared in your house as your son. And you glorify him and saying, okay, bye-bye. I'm going to go take sannyas. It's like, what's the whole purpose of sannyas? Right? So Prabhupada in the purport, he starts off, the true meaning of sannyas is renunciation of material household life. That is one aspect. The true meaning of sannyas is what? Complete absorption in Krishna consciousness. Now, if that is the meaning of sannyas, why is Kardamuni asking to leave? Imagine the Lord appears in front of you and says, oh Lord, I have one desire. Let me, take sannyas. Let me travel everywhere. Lord is in front of you. What else do you want? And now Kardamuni is saying, no, I want to go. Right? So why? Why does he actually make this request, right? So main point first, Prabhupada in the purport, he says sannyas means complete absorption in Krishna consciousness, right? In Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter, we see what does Krishna say? Anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karotiya sa sannyasi cha yogisha na niragnir na chakriya. Sannyas does not refer to one who actually lights no fire, performs no duty. Sannyas refers to one who actually completely focuses in Krishna and he's not attached to any results of his activities. And that is true renounce order. Then Prabhupada further in the purport, he talks of like how there are two kinds of devotees. One is Bhajananandi and one is Goshtanandi. So Bhajananandi he also calls Atmanandi. Atmanandi means they are self-satisfied. They do not take the risk of preaching. Right? Like how Gaur Kishore Dasji Babaji Maharaj, he gave instruction to Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. He said, never go to Calcutta. And what did Bhakti Saraswati Thakur do? He established his headquarters in Calcutta. Did he follow the instruction of his guru or not? He did. Why? Because he went to Calcutta and he created an oasis there, and he didn't associate with anyone in Calcutta, but he gave his association to everyone. Right? So here, why did I make this example? Atmanandi says, do not take the risk of preaching. They are alone with God. They're free from all anxieties. That is Kardama. Right? He's a Bhajananandi, Kardama Muni. Now, Goshtanandis are those who are preachers. Many followers and live among them to organize missionary activities. So they are preachers, they live among other devotees. They say, okay, now book distribution, this is our goal for Bhadra campaign, this is what we have to do, plan. That is more mood of preaching. Right? So either they are preachers, and the second is the class where are Atmanandi, self-satisfied. They do not take the risk of preaching. Now I realize. Why did I give the example? Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj and Bhakti Sansvi Thakur. What is the mood of Gaur Kishore Dasji Babaji Maharaj? Bhajananandi. He didn't want to do anything. He used to actually go and chant in the bathroom, dirty place, so that no one will come and disturb him. Right? That was Gaur Kishore. But what is his disciple? Goshtanandi, Bhakti Sansvi. God preached 64 mutts, everything all around India. Right? So that is Goshtanandi. So Prabhupada talks of this, and he tells that Kardama Muni, his mood was more Atmanandi or Bhajananandi. So he just wanted to not mix with anyone and just go to the forest and just internally meditate on Krishna. That was his mood. And then also Prabhupada talks of Parivraja. Parivraja means he's asking to become a Parivraja. That means not live anywhere more than 3 days. This is one of the questions in your closed question book. For how many days does a Parivraja, maximum number of days he stays in one place? So here it says 3 days. Otherwise, he's always moving. Door to door he goes, he preaches. Right? That's the Parivraja strategy. Okay. Now, okay, so now let's go to the 4 reasons why Kardama Muni, in spite of the Lord being in front of him, wanted to renounce. Right? So I've already kind of hinted. So what is one reason? Let's see what reasons you have.
He wants to spend rest of his time in remembering Krishna, thinking about him.
Yeah, but Krishna is right there in front of him. Right? So why he is leaving? Right? So the four reasons. First one is, if you see Kardama Muni's life, did he have a perfect brahmachari ashram? Yes. Very nice. He went out, he did austerities, very severe austerities, 1,000 years, perfect brahmachari. Did he have a very good grahast life? Yes. Perfect wife, even in grahast life, he did austerities, he had children, everything perfect. Now, after brahmachari perfect, grahast perfect, then what next? Vanaprastha and sannyas. So, the first reason why Kardama Muni left is that he wanted to follow the instructions of the Vedas. He says Vedas are actually given by Krishna, and Vedas have established this system, whereas Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, I want to follow this system. And by following the instructions of the Vedas, that gives pleasure to the Lord. So my more intention is to please the Lord. And for pleasing the Lord, I follow the Vedas, set the right example, and for that I have to leave home. First reason. Right? Second reason is Kardama Muni's mood to the Lord is that of dasya. Right? His mood is that of being a servant of the Lord. But if the Lord is growing up in his house, then naturally what will happen? He will have the mood of father. Fatherly affection will come to his son. And Kardama Muni did not want to mix these two rasas. He says, my rasa is that of dasya, to serve the Lord as the master. I am the servant, the Lord is the master. He did not want to mix vatsalya, have the feeling of vatsalya in his bhakti. He wanted to just focus on dasya because that was his real constitutional position. So to avoid that mixture of rasa, he decided to leave. Third point, right? Third point, he's saying the Lord will anyway make me renounce. As being Kardama Muni, anyway he'll make me renounce. Why not renounce right now? Why not do it right now? Let me do it right now. Anyway, I've finished all my duties. My debts are taken care of. Debt to my forefather is taken care of. All my desires are fulfilled. Now I don't see any more reason why I should wait. Anyway, he'll make me renounce. Why not renounce right now? Right? Third point. And the fourth point is a very important point where he says it is more important to worship and remember the Lord constantly than to be with the Lord. More important to serve the Lord than to be with the Lord. Mhm. So even like one may say, even with Prabhupada, one may say, yes, Prabhupada is there and you want to take as much association, but what is more important? To always be next to Prabhupada or to serve Prabhupada's instructions? What would please Srila Prabhupada more? To actually serve his instruction, to actually help him preach. So fourth point is, it is more important to actually worship and remember the Lord constantly than to have that personal association with the Lord. Right? So if in Bhagavatam, if you see, there are two shlokas that repeat twice. Right? We have already discussed one shloka. Anyone remembers? Tulyama Lavenapi, right? In the first canto, 8th chapter, it says talks of importance of devotee association. And second shloka, right, which Bhagavatam repeats, is from 10:23:33, where it says, Shravanat Darshanat Dhyanat Mai Bhavo Nu Kirtanat Na Tatha Sani Karshena Pratiyata Tathograha. Right? So when is this? Twice this comes. One is when the gopis in Gopi Geet, right? When Krishna actually he plays the flute, the gopis come. Then what does Krishna say? Oh, now you have come, you have seen the forest, but actually it's the middle of the night, and you should actually serve your husband, right? So go back, right? And then Krishna makes this verse, and he says what? And this verse is saying, it is by hearing about me, seeing my deity form, meditating upon me, chanting my names and glories, that love for me develops, not by physical proximity. Therefore, please go back to your home. Not by physical proximity, by serving the Lord, by worshiping the Lord, by pleasing the Lord. That actually one can actually please the Lord and develop that love, not by physical proximity. So that comes once, and then also in the Yagya Patni episode, when all the Yagya Patnis they come, then what does Krishna say? Okay, you have given me food, now go back. And then he again quotes the same verse, right? Twice this verse comes. So the fourth point is, more important to have that physical proximity is to actually constantly meditate and focus on the Lord. Serve the Lord. Right?
Prabhu,
Okay.
can you say the third point one more time?
The third point is the Lord will make him renounce anyway. So why not renounce right now? Anyway, I have to take renunciation. But why not? This is a perfect time. I have already Grihastha ashram, I have finished all my duties. Now, natural progression after a good brahmachari grihast is to take renouns. And so I should just renounce right away. So because of these four reasons, then he actually asked the permission that, okay, you are here, but I need permission to renounce this world. Okay. Everyone okay with these 4 points? And the last point is the most important one, where he says it's not by physical proximity that one actually serves the Lord, but one hears about him, meditates upon the Lord in his heart, all those things. That is more important.
So, Prabhu, as per our Gaudiya mood, when serving the Lord in separation rather than being together, like the other Pandit could have been with Mahaprabhu in Gambhira, but he chose to be at Toda Gopinath. So that is what I am thinking on this context of how not being in physical proximity. But then the other point that comes through that that the third point you said that the Lord wants him to renounce anyways. So what does that renunciation means in that sense? Because renounce what? Like at the end of the life renunciation, or right now renunciation, and what renunciation is meaning in the sense the Lord will anyways make him renounce. So the Lord will tell him later onwards that you renounce.
Anyway, the instructions, Kapila Muni is going to give instruction. And the essence of the instructions will come to the point of renunciation. Vairagya will be either he has a choice, whether I wait, hear Kapila Muni's all the instructions, give him lessons, and then after that, maybe when Kapila Muni is much more, then he'll say renounce. Because Kapila Muni also it is said that what did Brahma say? He's going to travel all around the world. So anyway, Kapila Muni, so maybe at that time he's going to tell Kardama, okay, you renounce. Anyway, you will ask me to renounce either through philosophy or when you start traveling. So why not renounce right now? I have done all my other duties. Grihastha ashram, I have done everything. Why not renounce right now? Why wait until later? Is that okay?
Prabhu, also then for Vanaprastha, the husband is supposed to carry his wife
Yeah, but
as
here,
but this is sannyas, right? This is not like really Vanaprasthas. That's
so
why.
actually Parivrajacharya is one of the stages of sannyas. Bahuda, Kutikchat, Parivrajacharya, and Paramahamsa. The stages of sannyas. So he's studying directly sannyas. And why is he not doing Vanaprastha here? Because his son is actually Supreme Personality. We already know that he's going to give knowledge to his wife, and through that, she's going to actually break the knot. I mean, she's already advanced, but he's going to give the philosophy of Sankhya to his mother. So, so hence he's actually directly taking sannyas. Okay. So let's see, 9:35. Okay, let's just do 2 more shlokas, and then we'll stop. 35.
Shri Bhagavan Maya proktam hi lokasya pramanam satyalokike athajani maya tubhyam yad avocham ritam mune.
Hare Krishna, the person of Godhead, Kapila said, whatever I speak, whether directly or in the scriptures, is authoritative in all respects for the people of the world. O Muni, because I told you before that I would become your son, I have descended to fulfill this truth. Hare Krishna.
So actually, Prabhupada, in this purport, he actually elaborates on the reasons that we just discussed. That, if you see in the purport, Prabhupada says, Kapila Muni, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has taken birth as his own son. Then why should he leave home? Such a question may certainly arise. But here it is said that whatever is spoken in the Vedas and whatever is practiced in accordance with the injunction of Vedas is to be accepted as authoritative in society. When Vedas say what? Pancha Shodham Vanam Vrajet. In 50 years, one should go to the forest. And that's the instruction of Vedas. And here he's saying, therefore, I'm going to follow that instruction. So Prabhupada focuses on that aspect. And then the second point also Prabhupada says here, that how Kardama Muni, he practiced Brahmachari ashram nicely. He practiced Grihastha ashram. Now is the ashram of renunciation. So even though he had the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his son, he had to respect the authority of the Vedas. And this is a very important lesson. Even if God, and I'm just reading from Prabhupada's purport, even if even if one has God in his house as his son, one should still follow the Vedic injunction. It is saying, Mahajano yena gata sapanta. One should traverse the path followed by great personalities. So even though even though one has God in his home, one should actually not deny Vedic injunction, one should follow that. Okay, so now let's come back to the verse. Okay.
Prabhu, these 4 reasons don't follow with Vrindavan Krishna, right? I mean, right?
I mean, it depends on your mood also, right? What is your rasa with Krishna?
Wait, if any one of us has 4 of the rasas, then these principles don't really.
Yeah, because the gopis just left everything to go to
Everything.
Krishna. They didn't follow.
The father did not leave the house and go out. There are all of these reasons,
Because
mixing of
Krishna
that.
said he will return, so how can they go, right?
So what is Armud? Armud is to follow in the footsteps actually of the gopis of Vrindavan, right? And yeah, one can say that uh, I mean it's like one with the exactly opposite, right? So when the gopis come, what does Krishna say? Krishna say your duty is to serve your husbands and go back. You know? And then and then gopis, they at that time we just read about the point, right? How they are with their toenails they actually scratch the ground, indicating that what are you saying? Like we came here just for you, and we know that you will be pleased only by having this Rasa Leela, right? So there, the higher principle was again to give pleasure to the Krishna, right? And then also the fourth point that we discussed, that is still valid here, right? That the most important thing is to give pleasure to Krishna. Now, for that, if there is separation, how when Krishna leaves and goes to Mathura, that separation, though it is, one way painful to the gopis, which is transcendental ecstasy, is actually the gopis accept that because that is, one way intensifying their devotion to the Lord. And in essence, finally, it gives pleasure to Krishna. So they accept all that just for the point of finally giving praise. So the fourth point is valid for everyone, the gopis. The remaining 3 points, one may say, to follow the injunction, one should leave home at a certain age. I mean, ideally, one should still follow the system, unless one is at that stage where there's a spontaneous love, only at that stage, right? For us, actually, they say we should follow all the rules. And even if we come to the stage of, let's say, Raga Nuga Bhakti, one should continue to follow the rules. Why? To set example for others. So anyway, the first point we should follow for sure, right? Then the second point, mixture of rasas. Maybe if Krishna comes, maybe that's Vrajanandan Krishna comes, then he's our Ishtadev. So that point may not be valid. Third point, anyway, he's going to make me renounce, so I'm not going to. And that's not so again so applicable here. But fourth point, certainly applicable. So 1 and 4 are applicable even in our case. Okay. Okay, so let's come to 35. So it says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Maya Proktam hi, whatever is spoken by me, Satya and Lokika, in the scriptures and in ordinary speech. So whatever I say, Lokasya Pramana is the authoritative in all respects for people of the world. So whatever I say, either I just say it in ordinary speech or what is there in the scriptures must certainly be accepted. So Kardama is making the point what? Your Vedas actually say we should renounce. And Krishna is saying, yes, whatever I say, you should actually accept. That is the authority. And he is telling his own example and saying, see, I told you I will come, and now I have come. So I am proving my own word. So whatever is spoken by me has to be accepted. And I have spoken the Vedas, so you're following it. So good. You're leaving, that's approved by me. Right? That's approved by me. So Krishna is accepting that. Okay. And Prabhupada in the purport, yeah, so we discussed few points of the purport. Okay, one point Prabhupada also says that in Kali-yuga, sannyas is forbidden. But why do we have so many sannyasis? And Prabhupada makes a point, in Kali-yuga, sannyas is forbidden because people cannot follow the 4 regulative principles. They'll take sannyas and then they may be attracted to women and they break the principle. But if one can sincerely follow these 4 regulative principles and preach Krishna consciousness, then he can take sannyas, right? That's the point Prabhupada says. And also Prabhupada says like he focuses on how sannyas is forbidden in the age of Kali Yuga. But then he says, generally people are unable to accept sannyas life. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stressed what? Kalo nasteva, 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 agatiranyata. In Kali Yuga, our main process is chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is the main thing. Okay. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue in 36 onwards next class. Okay, so we are almost to the end of this chapter. And so next week we'll have our session. Then the week after that is a break. And then after that is 2 weeks of presentation. right? And then, and also I planned that 1 week break because that time I'll be in Vrindavan and I will not, internet is very bad. But after the next 2 weeks, I should be able to join because that time I should be, I'll be out of Vrindavan. So those 2 weeks I should be able to join, and then we'll have the presentations by all of you. Okay. Okay, so those are not selected chapter, please select, and we'll have those presentations for 2 sessions. Thank you all so much. Any final comments, questions?
Prabhuji, I was thinking about this fourth point, which is the most important point for us, that we should serve the Lord. But our mood is always separation, right? Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Right? The Pralamna.
Yeah, like Prabhupada in that Sad Goswami Ashtakam, the last verse, he actually says, what are the Goswamis doing? Hey Radhe Vrijadevi Ke Chalalite. They're always searching, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Our mood is not that, oh, I met Krishna, I saw Krishna. Our mood is always that mood of separation. And in that separation, we serve. We serve in that mood of separation. Thank you. Thank you. Nice one. Okay. Okay, so we'll end here. Thank you so much for your association. Thank you for joining this morning. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya, Kripa Sindhubhyevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namah. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hare.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.